Chapter 1177. During the 36 years of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were too many incidents that happened in the 4 sacred academies. Each sacred academy had geniuses contending against each other. Some geniuses formed good friendships, and there were also geniuses who formed deep grudges. But there were even more geniuses who wanted to contend for supremacy in the Sacred Academy, becoming an unrivaled character, ascending to the supreme might rankings of the Sky Connecting Realm, entering the second level of the Sky Connecting Realm. Because by doing so, if the future ancient emperors really came from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, they would have a chance. Among the various contentions, the battle between Qin Wentian and the 9 emperors' immortal state was only one of them, but it could also be considered one of the most majestic. After all, there were simply too many peak powers in the immortal realms involved in that battle. The 9 emperors' immortal state, Wenxin Temple, Tenlan Heaven Kingdom, Supreme Sword School, Evergreen Kingdom, Jidi's followers, Zidi's followers and so on. In addition to Huang Shaishan's Empyrean prowess, the commotion naturally wouldn't be small. In addition, even if it was Qin Wentian who was at the 5th level of Immortal Foundation, he was still a character that would be hard for people to forget. For the 81 steps of the Shizhong Wall, only Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian succeeded. The difference was that Qin Wentian's cultivation base was much lower. If they fought head-on, he naturally wouldn't be able to withstand a single strike from Huang Shatian. Hence, in that battle, only 5 supreme experts joined forces to deal with Huang Shatian. Qin Wentian wasn't there. Naturally, the people of the Sacred Academy also understood that there were still many Empyreans or characters from other sacred academies who didn't head to the Shizhong Wall. If not, it wouldn't be only Qin Wentian and Huang Shatian who could reach the 81 steps. And as expected, after the commotion of that battle circulated, many experts headed to the Shizhong Wall. Another Empyrean managed to reach the 81 steps, establishing a perfect immortal foundation. After a period of time, another supreme genius headed to the Shizhong Wall, establishing a saint-grade immortal foundation. It was as though the Shizhong Wall was created precisely for these supreme geniuses. The name of the Shizhong Wall resounded throughout the 4 sacred academies. More and more experts attempted, but no matter what, there was no one who could achieve what Qin Wentian did back then, achieving the 81 steps of the Shizhong Wall. This record, no one could break it. Hence, Qin Wentian's name would occasionally be mentioned in front of the Shizhong Wall. Other than this, the place where his name was mentioned the most was the Tongtian Heaven Stone. Because Qing was sitting there and she had never left the place. She would sit on a huge rock not far away from the Tongtian Heaven Stone with her eyes closed, ignoring the matters of the outside world. It was as though she had let go of everything and could only wait quietly. He promised her, then, he will come, also must come. The infatuation of the daughter of the evergreen immortal sect, Qing caused many to sigh in their hearts. The tyrannical 9 emperors' immortal state as well as the domineering Huang Shatian broke up a pair of lovebirds. This resulted in Qin Wentian's death, causing this supreme beauty to be so sad. Many people stood on the Tongtian Heaven Stone. Among them, there was an extremely beautiful woman who exuded a heroic aura. Her brows were tightly furrowed as she stared at the vanishing silhouette of Qin Wentian. Maybe, I was wrong back then, the woman murmured. Even my royal sister would admit her mistake, the young man beside her asked. I thought that he would be humiliated by the 9 emperors' immortal state and that would offset the incident of him helping Bujie the lecherous monk. What happened after that was beyond my expectations time and time again. Even that lecherous monk Bujie surprised me. For such a person to die because of the 9 emperors' immortal state, I feel that it's a pity. Even without you, he and the 9 emperors' immortal state would have met sooner or later. Some things are destined to be unavoidable. Monk Bujie, what do you plan to do? Since things have come to this, and Reverend Buyu also asked Monk Bujie to apologize, let's forget about it, the woman said softly. Not far away from her, several cold gazes suddenly turned over. She frowned and looked over. She immediately saw several extremely outstanding beauties who were not inferior to her staring at her coldly. The holy successor of the Namhuang clan. Her elder brother spoke in a low voice, his words causing a strange expression to appear on her face. This man's luck with women is truly not bad. So many beauties are sad because of his death. Master won't die. A beautiful woman clad in a fiery red dress coldly spoke. This woman was none other than Purgatory. He won't. She shook her head. Naturally not. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, his situation was even more dire. Zi Daoyang and Mo Xia couldn't take his life and were killed by him in the end. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor and Zidi's subordinates in the God Hand Mountain Manor also couldn't take his life. Now that he has cultivated God's hand, how can the people of the 9 emperors' immortal state kill him? Nam Huang Yunshi resolutely spoke. She firmly believed that Qin Wentian wouldn't die. Won't die. Humans truly know how to console themselves. A group of figures walked over. These experts all exuded a terrifying baleful aura, causing Nam Huang Yunshi and the others to have solemn expressions as they stared at this group of experts. These experts were none other than the experts of the White Tiger people. The person who spoke was none other than the White Tiger royalty expert, Bai Mao. Back then, he and Huang Wudi pursued Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian was defeated by him, allowing Bai Mao to regain his confidence. There's no mistake in the Supreme Might rankings. Since he disappeared, it means that he has died. Bai Mao coldly spoke. That's right. Nam Huang Yunshi, you must be in love with Qin Wentian, right? Don't worry, the demons of our White Tiger people are naturally strong. We will definitely make you happy. A White Tiger greater demon laughed evilly. Nam Huang Yunshi had a look of disgust on her face. A holy maiden beside her directly spoke in a cold voice, disgusting vile beast. Disgusting. Bai Mao's evil eyes coldly laughed. The people of the Nam Huang clan are looking down on you White Tiger greater demons. A provocative voice drifted over. It was a disciple of Zidi. Wait until they become pregnant with the little demons of the White Tiger people, they would no longer think this way. A White Tiger laughed. You all dare to do this? I heard that Qin Wentian once roasted White Tiger meat in front of you all. No wonder. However, not only are there Nam Huang Yunshi and the others here, there's also that widow of Qin Wentian. She is also a supreme beauty, do you all want to take care of her? Zidi's followers spoke, their words causing the experts of the White Tiger people to stare in the direction of Qin. Many of the White Tigers had evil looks in their eyes. Despicable fellows. The princess of the Shooting Sun Kingdom coldly spoke when she saw this scene. You humans only know how to use such dirty methods. You don't dare to do it yourself, so you want us White Tiger people to do it? Bai Mao said without any trace of politeness. Although he hated Qin Wentian, he wasn't stupid. Zidi's followers intentionally humiliated and angered them with words. Their words made the White Tiger people very embarrassed. Don't dare. It's just that we aren't strong enough. Zidi's followers laughed. Princess Qing, the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom had already proposed marriage before the appearance of the Sacred Academy, yet you had an affair with Qin Wentian. However, now that Qin Wentian is dead, you are free. Are you preparing to join the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, or are you going to seduce Huang Shatian? Although Huang Shatian didn't express any interest in you, if you take the initiative to throw yourself into his arms, you might have a chance. Did Zidi teach a group of beasts like you? Scram! Qing's eyes were still closed, but Zidi's followers couldn't help but say coldly. After the battle, Huang Shatian indeed didn't express any interest in Qing. Since Qin Wentian had already died and paid the price, there was no need for him to continue wasting time on these people. Cultivating in the Tiandao Sacred Academy was the most important thing. Wasting even a moment was shameful. Zidi's followers' expressions turned ugly. These disciples of GD weren't polite at all. My brother dislikes you for being dirty, but I'm not a clean freak. Why don't you warm my bed? A voice rang out. Everyone saw Huang Yudi walking over. His gaze was sharp. Back then, he was humiliated by Qin Wentian, and it was a huge blow to him. But now, he seemed to have gotten over it. He wanted to take revenge for the humiliation Qin Wentian gave him back then. Although Qing Er's eyes were closed, a cold aura radiated from her. She still didn't move. She only had one purpose, and that was to wait for Qin Wentian to appear. "I'm talking to you," Huang Yuti shouted. Terrifying sound waves swept out, as though he had transformed into the incomparably tyrannical Huang Yuti who was invincible under the heavens. This idiot. Didn't he suffer enough from senior brother back then? He actually still has the face to appear here. Jun Mengchen, who was sitting far away, coldly spoke. Huang Yuti inclined his head, his killing intent flashing as he stepped out. Every step he took caused the earth to tremble. He stared at Jun Mengchen as he coldly spoke, "I will make you regret living in this world. I want to see how you will make me regret." Jun Mengchen stood up. The aura of a fifth-level Immortal Foundation expert gushed forth, causing the wind and clouds to howl as the sky changed color. "So you have broken through. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant before me." Huang Yuti floated in the air as his emperor light radiated forth. Jun Mengchen roared in rage as the world diagram appeared. He punched out with his fist, causing a tyrannical might to manifest in the air, transforming into a terrifying war chariot that smashed into the human emperor. Boom! Huang Yuti stepped out once more, exuding a fearsome aura. But at this moment, he suddenly saw a pair of eyes. That person had been quietly standing there with his eyes closed. At this moment, he abruptly opened his eyes, like a cycle of samsara. The human emperor attacked out, but to everyone's shock, Huang Yuti's attack actually deviated from the target. To a genius, this was undoubtedly fatal. "Careful!" A loud roar rang out. Jun Mengchen's attack descended. Huang Yuti howled as a deafening boom rang out. His body was flung through the air as several figures appeared before him. One of them exuded a towering might of thunder and lightning, slashing out a sharp attack, forcing Jun Mengchen to retreat. "Who are you?" Huang Yuti stabilized his state of mind, staring at the handsome young man who appeared behind Jun Mengchen. "His name is Hua Taishu. His illusionary arts are extremely high and his gaze is terrifying. Don't match his gaze." Someone spoke. "Courting death." Huang Yuti coldly snorted. "After that defeat in the past, your state of heart has no way to return to the past. It has become twisted." Hua Taishu's voice was very calm, yet it was as though he had hit the nail on the head. This caused Huang Yuti's expression to turn extremely unsightly. "Ha ha ha, so what if I'm twisted? I'll kill you all and capture the beauties. I'm still Huang Yuti. Sadly, Qin Wentian is already dead. If not, I would definitely let him personally witness how I kill his friends and toy with his women." Huang Yuti laughed uproariously, radiating supreme emperor might. "You won't be able to see it." A cold voice suddenly rang out in the air, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. Many experts inclined their heads and stared at the sky. After that, their gazes froze there. Chapter 1178. In the air, a figure stood there. His long hair fluttered in the wind and his handsome features exuded an unparalleled aura. This was none other than that supreme character who vanished from the Supreme Might rankings, Qin Wentian, who once took the 81 steps on the Shizhong Wall. Qin Wentian didn't die. He actually didn't die. In that case, what happened exactly? Those people who were hunting Qin Wentian disappeared. Where were they now? And why did Qin Wentian's silhouette vanish from the Supreme Might rankings? Huang Yuti stared at Qin Wentian, Bai Mao stared at Qin Wentian, Zidi's followers stared at Qin Wentian. Their countenances were all extremely unsightly to behold. Back then in the war, all the major powers joined forces to fight against Qin Wentian because they all had a common target, Qin Wentian. After that, the news of Qin Wentian's death circulated like wildfire. His silhouette vanished from the Supreme Might rankings and everyone assumed that he had died. Qin Wentian has already died, all the conflicts had vanished. Although there were still grudges between the major powers, they didn't erupt until today when Bai Mao and Huang Yuди appeared. It was as though they wanted to ignite the grudges once more. Even though Qin Wendian had died, they didn't want to spare anyone else. The reason was very simple, the grudges between them were the deepest. Qin Wendian roasted a white tiger and ate its meat. While Huang Yuди was said to be a match for everyone under the heavens, he was defeated by Qin Wendian and suffered great humiliation. After Qin Wendian died, he had no way to vent his anger. Hence, he came here today to vent his anger. However, they didn't expect that Qin Wendian was still alive. Jun Mengchen, Nam Huang Yunxi, and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe all had smiles on their faces when they saw Qin Wendian. This fellow finally appeared again. They knew that Qin Wendian wouldn't die so easily. His life was extremely tough. Qin Wendian coldly glanced at Huang Yuди. After that, he stepped out and arrived before Qing'er. At this moment, Qing'er had already opened her eyes. Although her aura was still cold, there was a hint of gentleness in her eyes as she stared at the familiar figure before her. Qing'er. Qin Wendian gently called out. After that, he stretched out his hand and stroked the hair at the corner of Qing'er's eyes. His actions were filled with gentleness and gentleness. On Qing'er's cold countenance, a rare smile appeared. It was a natural smile, so beautiful. There were many beauties in the surroundings, but under this smile, all beauties seemed to lose their luster. Qin Wendian also smiled. He lightly held Qing'er's hand and glanced at the GD's followers beside him. Many thanks to senior sisters for taking care of Qing'er. GD's followers had a good impression of Qin Wendian. In addition to the deep feelings Qing'er had for him, they naturally wouldn't have any prejudice against him. All of them smiled and nodded. Qin Wendian, it's good that you didn't die. Let's fight again. Huang Yudi icily spoke. Numerous terrifying auras gushed towards Qin Wendian. Not only for Huang Yudi, the experts of the White Tiger people, Zidi's followers, and the students of the Supreme Sword School all rushed over. Since Qin Wendian was still alive, all the grudges between them had yet to end. Where is the person who pursued you back then? An expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state stepped out. Back then, Huang Dangtian, who was at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, chased after Qin Wendian but vanished without a trace, vanishing together with Qin Wendian. Now, Qin Wendian appeared but Huang Dangtian had yet to appear. Qin Wendian coldly glanced at the person who spoke, he didn't reply. I'm asking you a question. An expert from the Supreme Sword School stepped out. Sword Qi whistled through the air, exuding a fearsome might. There were also people from his Supreme Sword School who went missing after Qin Wendian. Rumble. Numerous ferocious auras gushed forth. The people from the Battle Saint tribe, Namhuang clan, and GD's followers all unleashed their auras. For a period of time, the aura from the Tongtian Heaven Stone towered up into the sky, causing the atmosphere to be oppressive once more. For those who had nothing to do with this battle, they all retreated and gave up their positions, watching everything with interest. The Tiandao Sacred Academy had a total of 4 sacred academies. Not everyone knew about the grudges between them. With regards to Qin Wendian, many people had only heard of him. This fellow really came at the right time. The princess of the Shooting Sun Kingdom was also watching from the outside. Her beautiful eyes shone with a bright light as she stared at Qin Wendian. He actually didn't die. How interesting. It's truly a coincidence. These people didn't dare to touch the people from Qin Wendian because they felt that Qin Wendian had died. But isn't it also because the people from Qin Wendian's side still have some tyrannical strength? Without Huang Shaishan's participation, these people wouldn't be able to be so easily shaken. Today, when Bai Mao and Huang Yuди were preparing to fight, Qin Wendian coincidentally returned. What a good show. Qin Wendian stared at the arrogant faces before him. He released Qing'er's hand and took a step forward. His body slowly soared into the air as he stared at the experts below. Who the hell do you think you are? Are you even qualified to speak to me? Qin Wendian coldly spoke, staring at the expert from the Supreme Sword School. Sword chi instantly gushed forth from the expert from the Supreme Sword School. His sword chi was incomparably sharp, capable of annihilating everything as it pierced through the sky. Huang Yuti also coldly snorted. He stepped out and released his immortal foundation, manifesting a human emperor. Qin Wentian similarly didn't reply to him. Are you saying that I don't have the qualifications? The human emperor light flashed. Huang Yuti soared up into the air, wanting to fight again to wash away the humiliation he suffered in the previous battle. Qin Wentian stared at Huang Yuti, his eyes filled with mockery as he spoke. I didn't expect there to be someone like you in this world who doesn't know your own limits. After that miserable defeat, you still dare to ask me if I have the qualifications or not? Huang Yuti, do you know how to write the word humiliation? How dare you? Huang Yuti roared. Back then, how arrogant was he? He was known to be invincible in the world and was only willing to submit to his elder brother. In his eyes, how many people could be compared to him? Hence, back then when he spoke to Qin Wentian, his tone was extremely arrogant. And because of this, the impact of that humiliation on him was extremely great. And now, Qin Wentian's words were like sharp blades cutting into his heart, causing him to have no way to endure it. Die! The human emperor light radiating from Huang Yuti gushed forth with boundless might. Although he was only at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, the might he exuded was truly terrifying to the extreme. Even geniuses at the 7th level of Immortal Foundation wouldn't be able to unleash such power in a single strike. This human emperor light could destroy everything, directly shooting towards Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian's entire body shone with a brilliant light as he transformed into a fiend god. His entire body was enveloped by runic light and the human emperor light shot over, yet it had no way to penetrate through Qin Wentian's defense. He stood there, allowing the boundless destructive might to bore down on him, not moving an inch. How can this be possible? The expressions of everyone changed when they felt the aura radiating from Qin Wentian. 6th level Immortal Foundation. Back then when Qin Wentian was being hunted down, not only did he not die, he even broke through to the 5th level. How could it be so easy to break through? It wasn't something that could be accomplished in a day and night. Back then, Qin Wentian was in the midst of being hunted down. How did he manage to break through? How could it be so easy to break through to the next level? In that case, Qin Wentian's disappearance from the Supreme Might rankings was because he broke through to the next level? You named yourself Huang Yuti, proclaiming yourself to be a match for the entire world. How shameless. Just with your strength, you still dare to say that you are a match for the entire world? Qin Wentian stood there as he coldly spoke. Huang Yuti howled in rage, lifting his palms to attack. Numerous human emperors appeared, slashing out with terrifying emperor swords, causing the sky to change color as their might shook the heavens. Boom! Qin Wentian stepped out, his fiend god physique was stimulated to the extreme. Lifting his palms, he wanted to shake the heavens and earth, destroying everything. He chanted incantations, suppressing the human emperors, destroying the emperor's swords. Countless gigantic incantations floated in the air, exuding a towering might as they shot towards Huang Yuti, enveloping him within. Huang Yuti roared. He only felt a supreme suppression energy gushing forth from the incantations, boring down on him. He struggled in agony, his attacks had no way to break through. The incantations were like a cage, trapping him within. Huang Yuti, you are merely an ant. Qin Wentian's voice drifted over together with the incantations, like a dream. After that, he only saw an emperor descending from the sky, exuding an incomparably terrifying might, slamming into him, directly sending him flying through the air. Huang Yuti was known to be a match for the entire world. When he fought against Qin Wentian again, he was insta-killed. The disparity between them was too great, he wasn't a match at all. Such a cruel reality caused Huang Yuti's heart to turn cold. He, Huang Yuti, was merely an ant. Numerous experts stepped out. The powerful existences of the 9 emperors' immortal state stood before Huang Yuti, protecting him. Qin Wendian coldly glanced at them. Do you guys think that he still has the qualifications for me to act for him? If I was him, how could I still have the face to see others after being repeatedly humiliated? I might as well die. Enough. A person berated. Qin Wendian's words were all aimed at the heart. Although Huang Yudi was defeated, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. However, if Qin Wendian continued to say these words, he might really not be able to recover from this setback. He's already courting his own humiliation, yet he doesn't allow others to say anything. The people of the 9 Emperors' immortal state only know how to fantasize about how strong they are. Jun Mengchen coldly snorted. Back then, the more arrogant Huang Yudi was, the more intense the humiliation he suffered. Let's look at the Supreme Might rankings. At this moment, someone exclaimed in shock. Only to see a figure slowly appearing on the Supreme Might rankings on the sky connecting immortal rock. This was none other than Qin Wendian, who exuded magnificence throughout the generations. Earlier, he vanished from the Supreme Might rankings, but now, he reappeared and his ranking was even higher than before. Another supreme genius was replaced. Back then when he fought against Huang Yudi, he replaced a supreme genius. And now, when he fought against Huang Yudi, he replaced another supreme genius. This Huang Yudi is truly pitiful. He's simply a stepping stone for him to ascend the Supreme Might Immortal rankings. Someone laughed. Enemies under the heavens, it's because he was too arrogant. That's why the humiliation today is so intense. If he was more humble, even if he lost, he would only work hard to improve himself. Where would the humiliation come from? These voices drifted into the ears of Huang Yudi, causing him to groan in misery as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Qin Wendian truly ignored Huang Yudi. He walked towards another person, Bai Mao of the White Tiger people. Even if I can't kill you in the Supreme Might Immortal realms, if I don't roast you alive today, my name isn't Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian coldly spoke, his words causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. This fellow wanted to roast Bai Mao alive? Chapter 1179. Bai Mao stared at Qin Wendian as baleful qi circulated around him. Qin Wendian wanted to roast him. His cultivation base was at the 7th level of Immortal Foundation. Back then, he and Huang Yudi chased after Qin Wendian and killed Qin Wendian in the sky connecting realm. But now, Qin Wendian has already broken through to the 6th level. In addition to the battle with Li Yufeng back then, Bai Mao was no longer that confident in his own strength. This Qin Wendian was able to insta-kill Huang Yudi. This also meant that Qin Wendian was also a great threat to him. Weren't you very arrogant earlier? When did you become a mute? Jun Mengchen coldly spoke when he saw that Bai Mao wasn't replying. Earlier, Bai Mao's words were extremely arrogant, insulting Nam Huang Yunxi and the rest. Roar. A series of low-sounding roars rang out. The other greater demons of the White Tiger people all stood beside Bai Mao. The experts of the Nam Huang clan naturally stepped out, surrounding Qin Wendian. In the life and death arena earlier, the White Tiger people suffered a crushing defeat. Today, they would fight again. Boom. Qin Wendian didn't say anything. He merely took a step out as his fiend god body radiated a dazzling light. The energy of God's hand radiated from him, radiating an unexcelled aura. His aura was so powerful that it caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Kill! Qin Wendian roared. The experts of the Nam Huang clan and the Battle Saint tribe all attacked, leaving only Bai Mao to Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian's flawless immortal foundation shone with a supreme light. Within his immortal foundation, numerous ancient words of truth floated out, exuding a powerful suppression and destructive might. Each word contained supreme immortal law energy. The heavens and earth buzzed as ancient characters floated in the air, shooting out from all directions. White Eye roared in rage as his baleful aura transformed into a white tiger that lunged out in a frenzy. However, Qin Wendian's Saint-grade immortal foundation was incomparably resplendent and could transform freely, transforming into a gigantic ancient character. Boundless ancient characters shot out, destroying the white tigers one by one. Bai Mao's expression was incredibly unsightly to behold. He roared and reverted to his true form, slamming out with his palms. Every strike was an innate technique of the greater demons of the White Tiger people, containing boundless might, shattering the ancient words. You claim to be a lofty greater demon, but in reality, you are nothing but a beast. Nothing but trash. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. At the same time as the ancient words frenziedly attacked, Qin Wendian also blasted out with his palms, manifesting numerous great rocks that slashed apart the void. Bai Mao frenziedly defended. He didn't expect Qin Wendian to be so tyrannical. Just by standing there and attacking with his immortal foundation, Qin Wendian already caused him to feel like his hands and legs were tied. And when he attacked, Qin Wendian directly threatened him. He was from the White Tiger King race, a royal bloodline. Yet, he was in such a miserable state. His cultivation base was even higher than Qin Wendian. Boom! With a single step, Qin Wendian traversed space, directly appearing before the gigantic White Tiger King. Releasing his body of truth, an even stronger ancient word imprint blasted out. Boundless energy gushed forth from him, each of the ancient words transformed into a divine elephant that could suppress the heavens and earth. Bai Mao roared in grief and anger. Although he hasn't been defeated yet, from his voice, one could already sense the ending of this battle. The White Tiger royalty Bai Mao had no way to break through under Qin Wendian's attacks. He was completely suppressed. Qin Wendian stood there arrogantly. His fiend godlike body was like a supreme god king, staring at the gigantic Bai Mao who was struggling. This caused everyone to have an illusion that the person before Qin Wendian wasn't Bai Mao of the White Tiger people but an ant, an ordinary demonic beast that was about to be subdued by Qin Wendian. The disparity between the two of them was basically impossible to make up for. Bai Mao fighting against Qin Wendian was like an ant trying to shake a tree. They weren't on the same level at all. Such a battle caused many to be shocked, causing Bai Mao to feel despair. Finally, the attacks landed on Bai Mao, causing his entire body to tremble. Roar! A shocking baleful aura gushed forth violently. Bai Mao, who was in his original form, was filled with reluctance. This battle was the most humiliating one he had ever fought in his entire life. When Qin Wendian heard Bai Mao's roar, he directly blasted out with his palms. God's hand transformed into a terrifying ancient halberd of destruction that blasted out together with the ancient characters. Piercing sounds rang out unceasingly as the halberd pierced into Bai Mao's gigantic body. At this moment, that gigantic body of Bai Mao had become a living target for Qin Wendian's attacks. Miserable screams rang out unceasingly. Qin Wendian's attacks seemed to be never-ending, causing White Eye to feel incomparable agony as he struggled frenziedly. As the White Tiger Greater Demon, his defense was extremely strong. No matter how much Qin Wendian bombarded him, he wouldn't be able to break through. And as the battle dragged on, when he wanted to die, Qin Wendian's attacks actually weakened. Qin Wendian had been controlling the intensity of his attacks, not wanting to kill him. Light the fire. White Eye's gigantic body slammed into the ground, emitting rumbling sounds. An expression of agony could be seen in his large eyes, and when he heard Qin Wendian's shout, his entire body trembled as he let out howls of grief and anger. A Nam Huang clan expert walked over. This White Tiger people was extremely disgusting. The moment he opened his mouth, he wanted to capture them and use them to give birth to White Tiger cubs. This was intolerable. Now that he saw Bai Mao in such a pitiful state, this Nam Huang clan expert wasn't polite at all. He directly sent towering phoenix flames down, landing on Bai Mao's body. Bai Mao let out cries of agony as his entire body was being roasted by the flames. Even his skin was gradually being burned away, turning into a bloody mess. The hearts of everyone trembled when they saw this scene. That arrogant genius was actually roasting White Tiger meat. Crazy, too crazy. The White Tiger royalty expert, Bai Mao, was roasted over there. Most likely, the White Tiger people had never suffered such humiliation in their entire history. If this was in the outside world, would Qin Wendian really intend to roast Bai Mao and eat him? Roar, roar, roar. The experts of the White Tiger people roared in unison. However, Qin Wentian's expression was as cold as ever. Are you very angry? Qin Wentian's voice was cold. The White Tiger people weren't like this before. The Nam Huang clan experts fought even more ferociously, resisting the counterattacks of the experts of the White Tiger people. All these years, they had fought with the White Tiger people many times, and they were all extremely ruthless. Bai Mao's tears flowed out from his eyes. It was unknown if they were tears of pain or tears of humiliation. He, the White Tiger royalty expert, Bai Mao, was roasted alive. Finally, a beam of light flashed as Bai Mao's body vanished. He was sent out by the Sky Connecting Realm. The Sky Connecting Realm was ultimately the Sky Connecting Realm. It was impossible for them to roast Bai Mao and eat him alive. What a pity, I didn't manage to trick him into entering the life and death arena. If not, I would be able to enjoy a meal of White Tiger royalty meat. Qin Wentian emotionlessly spoke. The experts of the various powers were all stunned by Qin Wentian's tyrannical methods. Although there were many who had grudges with Qin Wentian here, there were also many experts from the Battle Saint tribe, Jidi's followers, and the Nam Huang clan here. Without an absolute king like Huang Shatian present, the 9 emperors' immortal state wouldn't dare to act recklessly. Other than those who fought against the White Tiger people, there were still many experts on Qin Wentian's side fighting, preparing to defend against others. Summon everyone here. In addition, kill these vile creatures. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. After that, many experts from the Battle Saint tribe joined the battle, surrounding the White Tiger people. There weren't too many experts from the White Tiger people here and the battle was basically one-sided. Even if they were massacred, Qin Wentian couldn't be bothered to humiliate them one by one. He simply allowed them to die and scram out of this sky-connecting realm. At the same time, there were experts from the Battle Saint tribe who heard Qin Wentian's orders. They immediately used the sky-connecting immortal rock to summon the experts from the Battle Saint tribe who were tempering themselves in the sky-connecting realm. For a period of time, many experts of the sky-connecting realm sped towards this direction. The Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Chu Qingyi, also arrived. Her beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian as a complicated expression could be seen on her face. She naturally knew of Qing'er's existence. Qing'er's status was even more noble compared to her. She was the youngest daughter doted on by Changqing the Great, and was also a disciple of G.D. She was only one of the holy maidens of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. In terms of looks, Qing'er was also more outstanding compared to her. Naturally, maybe even Chu Qingyi herself didn't know why she would compare Qing'er in her heart. Shouldn't she hate Qin Wentian? But when she saw that figure exuding magnificence through the generations, she couldn't bring herself to hate him. Chu Qingyi. Qin Wentian saw her and called out. Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes flashed. When she saw Qin Wentian looking at her, she actually felt a faint sense of nervousness. What's the matter? Chu Qingyi asked coldly. Back then, you said that you are already my woman. I don't think I've done anything to you. Shouldn't you clarify things a little? Qin Wentian spoke, his words causing Chu Qingyi to feel a little desolate in her heart. He wanted him to clarify things. You don't dare to admit what you've done. Chu Qingyi stubbornly spoke. I naturally dare to admit what I've done. But although I had the intention to humiliate you, I still have a bottom line, right? Qin Wentian spoke. Chu Qingyi's expression was cold. She actually turned and left. Qin Wentian grabbed out in the air. Instantly, a startling aura descended above Chu Qingyi as a terrifying runic palm imprint appeared. Speak clearly before you leave. Qin Wentian was as cold as ever. Fine. Nothing has ever happened between the two of us. I was the one who intentionally tarnished your reputation. Is that enough? Chu Qingyi turned her head and stared at Qin Wentian. The grudges between us are written off. You acted against my junior brother, and I've humiliated you. Leave now. Qin Wentian waved his hand and spoke. Chu Qingyi stared deeply at Qin Wentian before her figure flickered and she left. Love born from hatred? What a melodramatic story. The prince of the Shooting Sun Kingdom laughed when he saw this scene. He seemed to have sensed the abnormality of Chu Qingyi. Women are naturally emotional. How can they be as cold-blooded as you men? Qin Wentian has captured Chu Qingyi for a period of time. After seeing Qin Wentian's elegance, it's not strange for Chu Qingyi's attitude to change, the princess replied. You women are really strange. The prince smiled noncommittally. In that case, Leba has become a joke. Leba and Huanjiudi came together. Leba had been there the entire time. Who didn't know that Leba stood up for Chu Qingyi to deal with Qin Wentian and pursue Chu Qingyi? Back then, when Chu Qingyi said those words, it was already a humiliation for Leba. Now, although the truth had been clarified, Chu Qingyi actually had unexplainable feelings for her enemy, but she didn't have any feelings for Leba. This was truly ironic. Rumble. Leba's body shimmered with a myriad of lightning bolts as he walked towards Qin Wentian. Only by fighting would he be able to wash away the humiliation he suffered. Qin Wentian saw Leba walking over. He had no hesitation and stepped out. Leba humiliated Jun Mengchen. This debt should be settled. Even if Leba didn't look for him, he would have looked for him. Upon seeing Qin Wentian, the hearts of many trembled. Leba was known as the Thunder God's son and was now at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation. Did Qin Wentian want to face him alone? Chapter 1180. Qin Wentian and Leba stood facing each other in the air. Many experts dispersed, leaving the space for the two of them to battle. Upon feeling the fearsome might exuding from them, the spectators were all stunned by how strong the two of them were. Leba bathed in boundless lightning. In the air, there was a thunderstorm with lightning bolts shooting out unceasingly. It was like a taboo energy that could destroy all living things. Upon reaching the high tier of Immortal Foundation, the disparity between each level would be even greater, like an insurmountable chasm. Let alone the fact that Leba was already at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, how powerful was he? In addition to the fact that Leba was the son of the Thunder God, even ordinary 9th level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't be his opponent. He was already very close to the peak of Immortal Foundation. His Immortal Foundation was extremely terrifying, able to gather lightning and thunder from the heavens and earth, transforming it into the law of lightning. What a terrifying aura! The hearts of everyone trembled. They glanced at Qin Wentian again. He was a 6th level Immortal Foundation expert and had a fiend god physique. His entire body shone with an unexcelled light, yet he dared to fight against Leba at such a level. This was truly rare. In the entire Sacred Academy, most probably only a handful of people would have such strength and courage. Do you really think that just because you defeated a white tiger, you have the strength to challenge me? Leba domineeringly stepped out. Back then, he had injured Jun Mengchen and stood up for Chu Qingyi. How tyrannical was that? And now, when facing against Qin Wentian, his tyranny was as domineering as ever. From his Immortal Foundation, destructive bolts of lightning blasted out with inconceivable speed, directly aiming for Qin Wentian. Only to see Qin Wentian's perfect Immortal Foundation manifesting a divine turtle that enveloped him. Boundless lightning blasted out, causing the turtle to tremble unceasingly, but it was still incomparably sturdy, seemingly indestructible. Kacha! Violent crackling sounds rang out. Leba stepped out domineeringly and blasted out a lightning palm imprint. This palm imprint was like the palm of the Thunder God, capable of destroying the sky as it blasted downwards. Qin Wentian pushed his strength to the extreme, incomparably tyrannical. The power of God's hand flowed out from his arm as the destructive palm imprint blasted out, clashing head-on with Leba. A towering boom rang out in the air, as though the heavens and earth were on the verge of collapse. Destructive currents of energy gushed forth, and just a single collision was like the might of doomsday. Leba naturally knew that it was impossible for him to destroy Qin Wentian with a single palm strike. Hence, when he launched his attack, he continued advancing, borrowing the power of the thunderstorm in the air as he stabbed out with his finger towards Qin Wentian. In an instant, numerous destructive lightning dragons manifested, shooting towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian had no way to escape. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation transformed into that of a divine dragon, incomparably perfect. Terrifying dragon diagrams circulated on his body as the power of God's hand gushed forth. With a roar of rage, he lifted his hand and attacked. To the shock of everyone, they discovered that there were actually numerous demonic dragons that rushed towards Leiba's attack. The demonic dragons clashed against each other, fighting violently in the air. Leiba stepped out again, closing in on Qin Wentian. Staring at the frenzied Leiba, Qin Wentian didn't retreat at all. He actually stepped out as a fearless battle light gleamed in his eyes. What two of them are so powerful? The hearts of everyone trembled, they were even more shocked by how terrifying Qin Wentian was. Was he really a 6th-level Immortal Foundation expert? Every strike of his could shake the heavens and earth. Most probably, 7th-level Immortal Foundation geniuses would only be able to insta-kill him. No wonder Huang Yudi and Bai Mao were defeated so miserably. Leiba's eyes flickered with the light of thunder. He stared at Qin Wentian and coldly spoke, "Myriad tribulation slaughter." As the sound of his voice faded, boundless thunder and lightning transformed into a destructive might. This was a forbidden lightning that could destroy everything. It filled the entire space, covering the entire space where the two of them fought. The myriad tribulation slaughter was like a great tribulation of the heavens and earth, there was no way to evade it. Qin Wentian could only endure it. The shadow of the divine turtle continued to envelop him. As the myriad tribulation slaughter rained down, the divine turtle was being devoured bit by bit, on the verge of collapse. However, the might of the myriad tribulation slaughter seemed to have no end. Or to put it in another way, only when Qin Wentian was destroyed would the myriad tribulation slaughter stop. This was Qin Wentian's tribulation. What a terrifying destructive might. Although Qin Wentian's talent is unparalleled, it's still extremely difficult for him to challenge Leiba at the 6th level. Most probably, he will be defeated. Countless people stared at this battle as they felt a stifling feeling in their hearts. Leiba's strength was too shocking. He who was known as the son of the Thunder God was a supreme genius of the Thunder God Hall. His combat prowess was unparalleled and his cultivation base was also extremely high. Not only that, he was famed for his powerful attacks. This myriad tribulation slaughter contained a faint black gold luster. This wasn't his astral soul but rather, it was the indomitable metal attributed energy as well as the destructive attribute energy contained within. Leiba was most proficient in lightning attributed energy, while the other attributes were all used to support his attacks. In the future, he would definitely become the lightning emperor of a generation. The shadow of the divine turtle that enveloped Qin Wentian was destroyed by the 10,000 tribulations. Qin Wentian released his body of truth as countless ancient characters flew out from his immortal foundation. Each character contained a towering amount of energy, transforming into a radiance of truth that enveloped him, suppressing and destroying all corrosive energy in the external world. The 10,000 tribulations unceasingly rained down, destroying the ancient characters. However, the ancient characters were constantly being reborn after being destroyed. Qin Wentian was enveloped by the boundless energy, appearing extremely solemn, resembling an expert from the Buddhist sect. Is this enough? You want to challenge me just like this? Leiba inclined his head. Boundless lightning might gushed forth from his immortal foundation, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. A terrifying vortex of destruction appeared in the air, wanting to crush this entire space. This scene of doomsday caused the hearts of those who were watching from afar to tremble. And right now, Qin Wentian was right in the eye of the tempest. Let me let you feel true destruction. Thunder God's hammer. Leiba coldly spoke. Within the apocalyptic lightning might, the shadow of a thunder god appeared. This thunder god's shadow towered over the heavens and earth, resembling a 10,000-meter giant. He wielded the thunder god's hammer, gathering the forbidden might of thunder and lightning as a might that could crush all living beings gushed forth. For a period of time, countless people felt a stifling pressure. Even geniuses at the 9th level of Immortal Foundation felt their hearts trembling. After that, Leba's body also grew larger under the baptism of the lightning, fusing together with the thunder god's shadow, transforming into a thunder god with the thunder god's hammer in his hands, staring disdainfully at Qin Wendian. This was Leba, a heaven's chosen of the thunder god Hall. He had the title of the thunder god's son. How could his strength be undeserved? He naturally had the qualifications to be arrogant. Everyone involuntarily started to worry for Qin Wendian. This rising genius was someone who managed to ascend the supreme might rankings twice. Leba wanted to use the most domineering method to crush his confidence. This thunder god's hammer was extremely difficult to defend against. With a single hammer strike, Qin Wendian would most probably be transformed into a pool of blood. Rumble, terrifying rumbling sounds rang out. The crowd only saw Qin Wendian's body growing taller, becoming incomparably gigantic, standing tall in this space. The spectators from afar inclined their heads, staring at that terrifying silhouette. They couldn't help but to retreat as they felt a stifling pressure bearing down on them. Qin Wendian's physique was actually the same as Leba's. This was simply too shocking. Two gigantic silhouettes with their heads above their heads confronted each other. That kind of pressure was too violent and terrifying. It was as though they felt that the space was too narrow. They soared into the air at the same time and soared towards the sky. Even though they reached an extremely high altitude, the people below could still clearly see the two godlike existences if they raised their heads. Boundless energy circulated within his immortal foundation, transforming into an ancient halberd that could destroy everything. The black halberd shone with a brilliant light, the roars of dragons and rock, the cries of vermilion birds and the roars of Jinho could be heard. Greater demons floated around the ancient halberd, their combined might shaking the heavens and earth. Boom! Countless bolts of lightning descended from the sky. Leba wielded the thunder god's hammer as he smashed it downwards, aiming for Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian wielded the ancient halberd, exuding boundless destructive might as he broke through the air. Countless ancient characters gushed forth in a frenzy, the 8 greater demons actually fused together to form an even stronger force, yet it was extremely hard to fathom. They slammed into the thunder god's hammer, and a shocking collision caused the destructive might to be blasted downwards. The battle between the two of them caused countless people in the central regions of the sky-connecting realm to incline their heads, staring at this battle in the air. Chu Qingyi had originally already left, but at this moment, she involuntarily inclined her head and stared at the two silhouettes. Her heart was incomparably complicated. One could say that because of her, such a heaven-shaking battle was forced out, shocking the entire sky-connecting realm. The two of them fought in the air. The supreme thunder god's hammer and the ancient halberd that could annihilate all living beings caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. These two were simply too terrifying. I remember back then when Qin Wendian entered the Sacred Academy, he was only at the lower 3 levels of Immortal Foundation. Other than his perfect Immortal Foundation and Astral Souls, his cultivation base wasn't that conspicuous. But after 36 years in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he's actually about to stand at the peak of Immortal Foundation. Tiandao Sacred Academy is truly a place where true geniuses can create miracles. Someone mumbled in a low voice. 36 years, to Immortal Foundation characters, was truly too short. Maybe, it was just the duration of a single session of closed-door seclusion. Right now, from the perspective of combat prowess, since Qin Wendian could fight against Leba, there was no doubt that he was already nearing the peak of Immortal Foundation. The two of them engaged in a frenzied battle. Leba's thunder god's hammer started to gain the upper hand, but Qin Wendian actually grew more and more ferocious as he fought. The spectators discovered that the 8 greater demons revolving around his ancient halberd seemed to be faintly converging into a mysterious energy that grew stronger and stronger. For this point, Qin Wendian could naturally sense it even more clearly. The treasured art of the 8 greater demons was something he obtained from the treasured cauldron in the city of ancient emperors. Could it be that they were originally a single entity? Qin Wendian unceasingly tried. The 8 greater demons revolved around the ancient halberd, attacking again and again. Faintly, Qin Wendian could sense an overwhelming might capable of devouring mountains and rivers. Roar! Leba roared in rage. Qin Wendian lifted his ancient halberd once more as boundless energy gushed forth from his immortal foundation. The destructive might contained within shook the heavens and earth. Under the encirclement of the 8 greater demons, that overwhelming might grew even stronger, blasting forth and colliding with the thunder god's hammer. At this instant, the supreme innate technique actually devoured the thunder god's hammer and blasted towards Leba. With a thunderous boom, a shocking hole appeared in Leba's chest, directly penetrated through by that overwhelming might. Chapter 1181. Leba's hand movements came to a halt. His incomparably huge thunder god hammer had been destroyed, and the terrifying thunder cloud storm in the sky also gradually dissipated. At this moment, countless people inclined their heads to stare at the shocking scene, staring at the gigantic hole in Leba's chest. How is this possible? Leba lowered his head and stared at his chest. There was a gigantic hole there, and it was extremely shocking to see. His body was actually penetrated through with a single strike. He was at the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, yet he was actually defeated by a 6th level Immortal Foundation expert. All of this seemed unreal. Boom! Qin Wendian naturally wouldn't show mercy. He lifted his ancient halberd and stabbed out once more. The destructive might bore down on Leba once more, wanting to pin this gigantic body of the thunder gods to death in the air. You are truly very weak. If you were so arrogant in the outside world, you would already be dead now. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. His voice descended from the sky, shocking everyone. Qin Wendian was someone who jumped 2 levels to defeat Leba. He naturally had the qualifications to say such words. In truth, Leba wasn't weak at all, but Qin Wendian's words were irrefutable. This powerful existence who was the son of the Thunder God and wielded the Thunder God hammer was actually killed by a 6th level Immortal Foundation young man in the sky connecting realm just like that. If the two of them met in the outside world, Leba would already be a dead man. Leba inclined his head and stared at Qin Wendian, as though he was filled with reluctance in his heart. Leba, how could he be defeated? Qin Wendian naturally wouldn't care about what Leba was thinking. He blasted out another attack, causing Leba's gigantic body to shrink. Leba's body directly shrank as a stream of law energy bore down on him. Leba's body crumbled in the sky connecting realm, but in reality, he was sent out. But even if he left the heaven-span world, without a doubt, Leba was bound to suffer heavy injuries at this moment too. Up in the sky, of the 2 giants fighting, only Qin Wendian was left. All the experts of the sky connecting realm were watching. This battle allowed everyone to have a deeper understanding of Qin Wendian. Right now, not only was his talent outstanding, his combat prowess was also shocking. Huang Yuti of the 9 Emperors Immortal State, crushed by Mao of the White Tiger royal family, defeated Leba and Qin Wendian of the Thunder God Palace, and trampled over the 3 heavens prides. This battle showed his strength of character. Someone sighed. This battle was enough to be recorded in the history of Tiandao's Sacred Academy. Although it was not a peak battle at the level of Huang Shatian, it was still worthy of praise. Qin Wendian was very strong. Below, the expressions of the people of the Thunder God Palace were extremely unnatural. Leba, the son of the Thunder God, was actually defeated. He was the most outstanding figure of their Thunder God Palace who had stepped into the Sacred Academy, but he was actually defeated by someone who crossed 2 great realms. The pride of the great demons of the White Tiger people was constantly being attacked. Their royal family by Mao could not withstand a single blow, and Qin Wendian could even defeat Leba. Yet, they once called Qin Wendian a lowly human. Zidi's followers, the experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the people of the Supreme Sword School all felt waves of shock in their hearts. If Qin Wendian walked out of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he would definitely be an extremely powerful opponent to them. They didn't expect Qin Wendian to grow so quickly. Back then in the Evergreen Kingdom, although Qin Wendian's talent was outstanding, he wasn't that dazzling. But after today's battle, they truly felt the threat Qin Wendian posed to them. From afar, Chu Qingyi stared at the towering figure of Qin Wendian as complicated emotions filled her heart. He won, defeating the Thunder God's son Leba. Qin Wentian was only at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation. In the depths of Chu Qingyi's heart, she grew more and more convinced that if the Tiandao Sacred Academy was destined to produce an ancient emperor, there was a high possibility that Qin Wentian would be one of them. When you look at a person without any prejudice, only then would you discover how resplendent the radiance radiating from him is. Qing'er and Jun Mengchen naturally saw it. In Qing'er's heart, she had never doubted Qin Wentian. She had personally witnessed how Qin Wentian grew up from a particle world, growing up step by step. No matter how tough the situation was, he would still be able to walk through it. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, no matter how many geniuses there were, he would still radiate a radiance that belonged to him. He was such an existence to begin with, no one would be able to conceal his radiance. Qing'er's cold eyes flashed with a gentle smile at this moment. Although it was only for an instant, it was as tender as ever. How can my senior brother be defeated by Leba? I've long said that Leba would definitely pay the price. I just didn't expect it to be so fast. Jun Mengchen spoke. He wanted revenge for himself, but if his senior brother Qin Wentian defeated Leba, it would be the same to him as well. At this moment, the experts of the Battle Saint tribe in the Sky Connecting Realm were all gathered here. They had witnessed this battle as waves of shock rose in their hearts. The Saint Lord of this generation chosen by the previous generation was truly not bad. Qin Wentian descended from the air, returning to his normal form. His aura was still fluctuating slightly, he had expended a lot of energy in this battle. Although he managed to kill Leba, he knew that it wouldn't be so easy. During the battle, he discovered that the 8 demonic treasured arts in the treasure cauldron could actually fuse together to form an ultimate art. This was why he was able to destroy Leba at the end. Brother Qin, as expected of this Grand Master's brother. You do have some of my glory. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Everyone saw Monk Bujie walking over with a smile, causing many to roll their eyes. This monk was truly shameless enough. However, when they glanced at the 2 great Buddhas on the left and right of Bujie, no one dared to make fun of him. Buchan closed his eyes and remained silent. Buchan was still as handsome as ever, his entire body untainted by a speck of dust. Right now, Bujie was using the tiger skin of his 2 senior brothers to travel around. Who would dare to antagonize him? With Buyu's strength, unless he was a character at the peak of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it would be impossible for him to do anything to him. Even someone as powerful as Huang Shatian would find it hard to break through Buyu's defense. But I'm still not as thick-skinned as you. Qin Wentian stared at Bujie and laughed. He had no ill intentions, he was just joking. You are fated with the Buddhist sect. The power of the Buddhist sect is extremely strong. Seeking for the truth, the art of truth transformation is boundless. Have you ever joined the Buddhist sect before? Buchan asked Qin Wentian. Nope, this art was cultivated in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian replied, not hiding anything from Buchan. Tiandao Sacred Academy? Buchan was somewhat taken aback. I've already visited all 4 sacred academies. Are there any arts of the Buddhist sect that can be cultivated in such a desolate place? I entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy to cross the immortal sea, seeking for the truth. I stepped into an independent dimension and cultivated this art. Right now, I don't even know where I am. Qin Wentian bitterly smiled as he shook his head. Buchan nodded as he contemplated. He then spoke in a low voice, the Tiandao Sacred Academy is filled with boundless mysteries. This is your good fortune. Even the Sky Connecting Realm we are in has a 2nd level. Since you entered the Supreme Might rankings twice, you naturally have the qualifications to enter. That's true. The reason I came here is precisely because of the Sky Connecting Immortal Stone. Qin Wentian didn't hide anything. Right now, many people already knew about the matters of the Sky Connecting Realm. Many people knew that there might be another dimension in the Sky Connecting Realm. As he spoke, Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto everyone. Right now, he gradually met with his friends in the Sacred Academy. However, he also met with enemies one after another. Under the entanglement of gratitude and grudges, it was extremely hard for him to cultivate in peace. I know many of you want nothing more than for me to die. However, the rules of this Tiandao Sacred Academy prohibit death. Hence, it's destined that none of you will be able to kill me. In that case, from now onwards, I don't wish for any of you to harass me or my friends. If you want to kill me, I will accompany you all the moment I exit the Tiandao Sacred Academy. But in here, if anyone dares to act against my friends, I swear that I will make all of you pay a heavy price. In this Tiandao Sacred Academy, all of you can forget about cultivating for even a single day. Qin Wendian calmly spoke. Many experts from the Battle Saint tribe all released their cold qi as a terrifying pressure bore down on the entire space. Regardless of people from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom or Zidi's followers, all of them understood that what Qin Wendian said was the truth. They couldn't touch Qin Wendian, but if they continued to tangle with him, Qin Wendian would similarly be able to tangle with them. None of them would have an easy time. In this Tiandao Sacred Academy, the most important thing was still cultivation. Where did the people who were hunting you go? An expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state asked. Since Qin Wendian could kill Leba after he broke through, there was a possibility that those who were hunting him would also be killed by him. However, the timing wasn't right. Qin Wendian's name was only removed from the Supreme Might rankings after a period of time. This meant that that was the time when he broke through. But at that time, those who were hunting him had already disappeared for a very long time. Do you all believe that I killed them? Qin Wendian spoke. Everyone furrowed their brows, they truly didn't believe it. But where did those people go? Let's go. In the future, if you want to fight to the death in the Sacred Academy, I, Qin, will accompany you. Qin Wendian spoke. If he was alone, he wouldn't mind. But now that he had so many friends here, including Qing'er, he had some misgivings. The experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state all had misgivings as well. All of them coldly snorted as their silhouettes flickered and left this place. A snow-white silhouette dashed into Qin Wendian's embrace, speaking in a baby voice. Qin Wendian, did you miss this Bao Bao? Seems like your days are pretty good. Qin Wendian hugged Little Rascal as he laughed. Qin Wendian carried Little Rascal as he walked to the side of Qing'er. A gentle smile appeared on his face. I've finally chased away these flies. In this Sacred Academy, I'm afraid it's going to be hard to find peace. There's a second level in the sky connecting realm. I want to see you enter it. Qing'er spoke in a low voice, her words causing Qin Wendian to stiffen. He stared at the cold and beautiful countenance before him as a bitter smile appeared on his face. Qing'er, I just saw you and you want to chase me away. Qing'er was still as cold as ever. Her beautiful eyes stared at him and she didn't say anything. Qin Wendian felt warmth in his heart. He naturally knew what Qing'er was thinking. She hoped that he could grow stronger. If there was a second level in the sky connecting realm, Qing'er hoped that he could enter it as soon as possible. Fine, I will listen to you. Qin Wendian spoke in a low voice. After that, he turned and walked towards the sky connecting immortal rock. Help me take care of Qing'er. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe nodded. They naturally knew that Qin Wendian was speaking to them. Only to see Qin Wendian walking towards the sky connecting immortal rock. Immortal light circulated around him, landing on the sky connecting immortal rock. As he continued forward, the immortal rock started to turn illusory, like a gate of the void. Qin Wendian directly stepped into it. Chapter 1182. Qin Wendian directly stepped into the sky connecting immortal stone. That immortal stone was like a gate of the void, allowing him to step into the second level of the sky connecting realm. At this moment, Qin Wendian had indeed stepped into another dimension. This place seemed to be an ancient palace, desolate and uninhabited. This caused Qin Wendian to naturally think of the dimension he entered when he crossed the immortal sea back then. Could it be that that dimension was the same as this one, a dimension that belonged to the Tiandao Sacred Academy? And only those with extraordinary performances would have the chance to enter this secret dimension. For example, he crossed the immortal sea in pursuit of truth and entered a different dimension. And now, after ascending to the Supreme Might rankings twice, he also entered this secret dimension. With his previous experience, Qin Wendian naturally knew that this dimension was an extraordinary place. His silhouette flickered as he moved forward. Although this ancient palace was desolate and ancient, it exuded a mysterious aura, causing one to feel that this place was extraordinary. He followed that mysterious feeling and advanced forward, arriving before a screen of light. This screen of light was like a mirror, and Qin Wendian's silhouette could be seen reflected within. Within it, runic lights could be seen flowing about, boundlessly wondrous yet extremely hard to grasp. Qin Wendian stretched out his hand and tried to touch the screen of light only to discover that his hand had no way to touch it at all. It was like an existence of the void, simply hanging there, like a mysterious dimension. He knew it was there, but it was hard to touch it. Does it really not exist? Qin Wendian was somewhat puzzled. He lifted his hand and blasted out with a palm strike. A gigantic palm imprint whistled through the air, blasting into the screen of light. Faint ripples appeared within before it transformed into beams of runic light and vanished, causing Qin Wendian to feel even more unfathomable. But at this moment, a scene that caused Qin Wendian to be stunned appeared. In the mirror, his figure could be seen, but it wasn't in the form of him standing. He lifted his hand and blasted out a palm imprint, repeating it over and over again. After that, the law energy within the palm imprint was modified, growing stronger and stronger. At the very end, that palm imprint actually seemed to be extremely perfect. In fact, it even surpassed the limits of Qin Wendian's attack. This kind of perfection was the use and control of every single bit of power. It was just a casual palm strike, but it actually blasted out the rhythm of the laws. This. Qin Wendian stared at the figure in front of him. The figure gradually dissipated. Qin Wendian's heart pounded. Divine ability evolved on its own. If that was the case, cultivating divine abilities here would definitely allow one to possess shocking might and raise one's combat strength to an unsurpassable limit. Suppress. Qin Wendian was impatient to verify the guess in his heart. He opened his mouth and spat out a gigantic ancient character. This character was the word suppress, containing the might of a true art. It shot out and floated in the air, suppressing everything before it, blasting into the screen of light. Specks of runic light flashed. This screen of light seemed to be analyzing his divine ability with the power of laws. After that, Qin Wendian discovered that his figure once again appeared in the screen of light. He opened his mouth and spat out the word suppress, continuously trying to evolve it. Each time, the might of the word grew stronger and stronger. In the end, when the ancient character was spat out, the heavens and earth seemed to resonate with it. That ancient character was like a law, transforming into an ancient character of laws, truly unleashing the power of truth to the extreme. The powerful ancient character suppressed the heavens and earth, collapsing the void as it was spat out from Qin Wendian's mouth. The might of a single word can actually be so powerful. Qin Wendian sighed in his heart. This was the perfection of innate techniques. Upon seeing the attack in the screen of light, Qin Wendian couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. In Tiandao's Sacred Academy, his combat prowess was unrivaled among those at the same level as him. There was no one who could contend against him, and all of them had to jump levels to do so. However, this was because his immortal foundation was perfect, his fleshly body was unrivaled, and he also cultivated the ultimate art God's hand. Not only that, he also had the support of a true art and his bloodline as his foundation. He had never doubted the usage of his innate techniques. Maybe his comprehension abilities were already very high when compared to others. But right now, when he saw himself in the mirror, he knew that he could still improve himself, allowing his combat prowess to be even more perfect. Although there were differences in strength between innate techniques, there were some who could unleash extremely powerful might from low-level innate techniques. There were also some who could modify their innate techniques. Everything depended on one's own comprehension abilities. Qin Wendian had grasped many different types of innate techniques, and right now, he mainly relied on the power of God's hand in combat, allowing him to unleash all sorts of tyrannical attacks. Now that he had this opportunity, he would be able to upgrade his innate techniques to a higher level. With this mirror in combination with the cultivation of the myriad laws record, Qin Wendian was even thinking that if he cultivated all of his innate techniques to a certain limit, would he be able to modify the power of his innate techniques? Qin Wendian started to test it out. He started from the fiend god heavenly suppression art, slowly strengthening his innate techniques. After that, he faced the mirror and started to comprehend and cultivate. This was naturally a very long process. In the external world, Qing'er and the others stood guard in front of the supreme might rankings. Those major powers that had grudges against Qin Wendian ultimately didn't come to seek revenge. Maybe, it was because they were shocked by how strong Qin Wendian was. They knew that in the Sacred Academy, cultivation was the most important thing. If not, they would be surpassed by the later generations. Ever since Qin Wendian entered the Sacred Academy, he had already left too many geniuses behind. As long as he grew stronger, he wouldn't have to worry about not being able to kill Qin Wendian in the future to wash away the humiliation. In addition, to Zidi's followers and the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, as long as the adjudication judge still existed, the Evergreen Kingdom wouldn't be able to stand against the joint forces of all the major powers. They would only see Qing'er being forced to join the Sky Mist Alliance. This was the general situation of the eastern regions. How could it be something Qin Wendian could control? In the blink of an eye, several months passed. With regards to the battle between Qin Wendian and Qin Wendian, the Sacred Academy gradually forgot about it. There were more and more battles happening in the Sacred Academy, and there was even a supremely powerful battle at the pinnacle. There were simply too many experts in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. All of them had extraordinary talent and were incomparably arrogant. How could they not clash against each other when they stood together? The disciples of Ji Chang's gate persuaded Qing'er to leave temporarily. They knew that Qin Wendian wouldn't be able to leave the sky connecting realm in a short period of time. Qing'er agreed. How could she not want to be together with Qin Wendian? However, she mustn't stop on her path of cultivation. Although she didn't like to speak, her thoughts were sharp. She knew that the Evergreen Kingdom was facing immense pressure. Both she and Qin Wendian needed to grow rapidly. This opportunity to cultivate in the Tiandao Sacred Academy couldn't be wasted. Qin Wendian's good friends all dispersed as they busied themselves with their own cultivation. In the blink of an eye, 2 years passed. 38 years have passed since the founding of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. An incomparably beautiful celestial maiden stepped into the territory of the Sacred Academy. This was none other than Mo Qingqing, who entered the Sacred Academy to cross the Immortal Sea. The Immortal Sea was extremely difficult to cross, but she still managed to cross it because of her strong conviction. Mo Qingqing walked into the Tiandao Sacred Academy step by step. She soared through the air and stared at the 4 majestic sacred academies that were connected to each other from afar. A smile that could topple the world flickered in her eyes, so beautiful that it would cause one's soul to tremble. Those who stepped into the Immortal Foundation realm were known as fairies. Their bodies would glow with immortal light and their demeanor would change, becoming as beautiful as a celestial maiden. Mo Qingqing originally already had a breathtaking countenance. Now that her cultivation base was also at the Immortal Foundation realm, her pure and flawless countenance caused all flowers to lose their luster. Wendian has cultivated here for over 30 years. Mo Qingqing mused. She finally arrived at the place where he cultivated. This Tiandao Sacred Academy was so miraculous. Most probably, his improvements must have been great. When she thought of the fact that she arrived at the place where he cultivated, Mo Qingqing couldn't help but feel happy. She felt a sense of closeness because the person she missed the most was here. Many passers-by all turned their gazes onto Mo Qingqing. Beauties were hard to find, especially one as beautiful as Mo Qingqing. Although cultivation was number 1 on the martial path, there were also immortals who loved beauty. When they passed by, they would naturally be attracted by her beauty and couldn't help but to steal a few more glances at her. What a beautiful woman, someone praised. There's another beauty over there. That's Huasini. She's also a rare beauty, but right now, she actually paled in comparison to that beauty. What a miraculous scene. Fairy's name? A genius laughed. Mo Qingqing merely nodded at them, she didn't want to offend them and didn't reply. This was her first time coming to the Sacred Academy and she naturally didn't dare to offend others. Might I ask where Fairy came from? A genius blocked in front of Mo Qingqing as he asked with a smile. Mo Qingqing stared at him and replied, I came from a small place very far away from here. After speaking, she nodded her head slightly, wanting to walk past that person. However, that person's silhouette flickered as he continued to block Mo Qingqing's path. He then smiled, Fairy, why don't we travel together? A bunch of lecherous people. A cold snort rang out as Huasini walked to the side of Mo Qingqing. After that, the two beauties stood side by side, transforming into a beautiful scenery. Scram! Huasini coldly snorted. A moment later, the expression of that genius stiffened. Huasini's talent was outstanding, but there was no need to fear her. However, her Dao companion was extremely famous and was a terrifying character from the 100 Refinements sect. It was rumored that she was Li Yufeng's greatest opponent in the sect and had once contended for the position of Sage Child. That person coldly snorted and departed. Thank you. Mo Qingqing thanked Huasini. No worries, I'm Huasini. I've been cultivating in the Sacred Academy for over 20 years. I can see that your cultivation base isn't very high. When did you enter the Sacred Academy? The maiden gently asked. I just arrived. Mo Qingqing had just received help from the other party, hence she spoke the truth. So this is the case. Let me lead the way and introduce the Tiandao Sacred Academy to you. Huasini smiled. Mo Qingqing nodded lightly and followed after Huasini. After entering the Sacred Academy, Huasini introduced the various cultivation grounds of the Sacred Academy to Mo Qingqing. She also introduced the Sky Connecting Realm and the other places in the Sacred Academy, causing Mo Qingqing to silently sigh in admiration. This Tiandao Sacred Academy was truly a holy land for cultivation. He should be living very well here, right? On the way, the two beauties enjoyed the gazes of praise from many. However, there were even more gazes that landed on Mo Qingqing, causing Huasini's expression to be somewhat unnatural. The attentive Mo Qingqing naturally discovered this as well. She then spoke, Sini, I wish to cultivate alone. There's no need for you to bother about me. Huasini wanted to nod, but at this moment, a voice drifted over, Sini, who is this fairy? As the sound of the voice faded, a resplendent genius walked over. This was none other than the substitute saint child of the 100 Refinements sect, Dong Linwu. His cultivation base was extremely high and his talent was outstanding. Linwu. A mesmerizing smile instantly appeared on Huasini's face. She walked to the side of Dong Linwu and hugged his arm. This is my new friend, Mo Qingqing. Fairy Qingqing truly has the charm to topple cities. Dong Linwu smiled, his words causing Huasini's countenance to change slightly. After that, she smiled, Qingqing, since you want to cultivate, you should go quickly. This is your first time entering the Sacred Academy, you have to be careful. Fairy Qingqing just entered the Sacred Academy. Dong Linwu was bewildered. Since Fairy Qingqing is Sini's friend, why don't we travel together? At least we can take care of each other. Chapter 1183. Mo Qingqing hesitated. She glanced at Huasini, wanting to reject, but Dong Linwu continued, the Tiandao Sacred Academy is vast and boundless. If we travel together, we might be able to help Fairy a little. Sini, what do you think? Huasini nodded when she saw Dong Linwu smiling at her. That's right, Qingqing. Let's go together then. Okay then. Mo Qingqing thought back to the scene where they encountered people blocking their way earlier. She couldn't help but to nod her head lightly. This Huasini and Dong Linwu seemed to be very powerful characters. Also, they were a couple. This way, things wouldn't be awkward. She hoped that they would be able to find Wentian as soon as possible. Let's go, I'll bring you around the Sacred Academy. Dong Linwu smiled. After that, he turned and walked out. Dong Linwu was a heaven's chosen of the 100 Refinements sect, a substitute sage child. Back then, he had once fought for the position of sage child and lost to Li Yufeng. He had always wanted to defeat Li Yufeng one day. However, Li Yufeng's talent was truly admirable. Dong Linwu, on the other hand, had a very high status in the 100 Refinements sect. In addition to his strength, many people were extremely polite to him. The 100 Refinements sect is a peak power in the northern regions. Lin Wu is someone who has a chance to become a sage child. His talent is outstanding and he treats me very well. Hua Sini spoke as a smile appeared on her face. Emicham, I'm really envious of you. Mo Qingqing smiled. Fairy Qingqing, given your beauty, if you want to find a lover, it wouldn't be difficult even for someone like me. Dong Linwu laughed. Qingqing is indeed beautiful. However, Dong Linwu, characters like you are extremely rare even in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. How can it be so easy to find one? Hua Sini laughed. Mo Qingqing was speechless when she heard their words. She then asked in a low voice, you guys said that the sky connecting realm can allow people to see words. Is this true? Naturally. Dong Linwu nodded. I wish to take a look at the sky connecting realm. Mo Qingqing spoke in a low voice. Dong Linwu had a strange expression on his face but he soon nodded, okay, Sini and I will go with you. Thank you. Mo Qingqing thanked him and flew in the direction of the sky connecting realm. Dong Linwu followed behind her, and Hua Sini was still behind. When she saw this scene, an unsightly expression flashed in her eyes. However, she swiftly concealed the unhappiness in her eyes and chased after Dong Linwu, walking side by side with him. Qingqing, do you need me to introduce a Dao companion to you? In this Tiandao Sacred Academy, geniuses are as common as the clouds. There are many from the 100 Refinements sect and all of them are extremely outstanding. If you can get close to a genius from the 100 Refinements sect, you wouldn't be intercepted so easily. Hua Sini said with a smile. However, there was a hidden meaning behind her smile. No need, I already have someone I like. Mo Qingqing shook her head lightly, as her footsteps involuntarily quickened. Is that so? What kind of person is he? How talented is he? Which peak power is he from? Hua Sini asked. He's naturally extremely outstanding. When Mo Qingqing thought that she would soon be able to meet Qin Wentian, she no longer cared about Hua Sini's attitude. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, causing Dong Linwu who was beside her to feel waves in his heart when he saw this smile. In the 100 Refinements sect, other than his cultivation base being slightly higher, he was inferior to Li Yufeng in every aspect. Even women were the same. Although Hua Sini was very outstanding, when compared to the younger sister of Li Yufeng's lover, Princess Kitamura, she was still inferior. As for Mo Qingqing, her beauty could even surpass that of Baiming Nongyue. In fact, even when compared to Princess Kitamura of the northern regions, each of them had their own merits. Such a beauty didn't need to have too high of a talent. Even if she was kept at home, she would still be pleasing to the eyes. Not only that, being able to enter the Sacred Academy already meant that she had extraordinary talent. Dong Linwu's heart trembled slightly. The three of them had already entered the entrance of the sky connecting realm and were rushing towards the central region. Looking at Mo Qingqing's expression, Dong Linwu could faintly guess that she wanted to use the sky connecting realm to search for someone. I'm really curious. Which genius would be able to cause Fairy Qingqing to miss him so much? Dong Linwu laughed. Hua Sini pulled on Dong Linwu's arm, as though she was worried that his arm would be snatched away. She then spoke, I hope Qingqing's lover is also an extraordinary man. But no matter what, how can he be compared to you? Although Qingqing is outstanding, I'm afraid the man she loves isn't even qualified to carry your shoes. Dong Linwu didn't deny it. This Hua Sini was truly intelligent, she actually saw through his thoughts and spoke such flattering words. However, this only made him feel more and more satisfied in his heart. Mo Qingqing furrowed her brows, she could already sense that something was wrong with Dong Linwu's attitude. When she heard Hua Sini speak of Qin Wentian in such a manner, she naturally felt unhappy in her heart. Although Dong Linwu is very outstanding and I won't compare him to my husband isn't as bad as what you said. Husband? The eyes of Dong Linwu and Hua Sini flickered. Dong Linwu felt extremely unhappy in his heart. Such a pure beauty was actually someone else's wife. Not only that, he even had some thoughts about her. He was naturally unhappy. As for Hua Sini, she was silently laughing in her heart. Glancing at Dong Linwu who was beside her, Hua Sini sighed in her heart. Men were all lustful and loved beauty. For a genius like Dong Linwu, it was basically impossible for him to only have one woman in his life. Being able to carry Linwu's shoes for him can already be considered as me thinking highly of him. Hua Sini coldly snorted, her expression changing faster than flipping the pages of a book. Mo Qingqing's countenance changed as she stared at Hua Sini. Why are you speaking in such a manner? Mo Qingqing, the Sacred Academy has already been established for close to 40 years. You have just entered the Sacred Academy, and your talent is extremely low. I'm afraid you have no idea what the geniuses of the Tiandao Sacred Academy are at. Linwu has the chance to become the sage child of the 100 Refinements sect, commanding countless experts from the Tiandao Sacred Sect. You have no way to imagine how outstanding he is. As for that husband of yours, who does he think he is? To be able to have a beauty like you as his companion, I feel that he isn't worthy of you. Hua Sini coldly continued, why don't you accompany me to serve Linwu? Naturally, you can also leave any time you want. I'm sure Linwu wouldn't stop you. You, shameless. Mo Qingqing's countenance grew incredibly unsightly as she spat out 2 words. This Hua Sini was Dong Linwu's girlfriend, yet she actually dared to say such shameless words to please Dong Linwu. At this moment, Dong Linwu didn't say anything, he merely stood at the side and quietly watched on. Being able to have such an opportunity, Mo Qingqing, you should feel honored instead. You don't know how to appreciate favors. If it wasn't for me and Linwu escorting you, given your beauty, there would surely be many people who would make a move against you. Even if you have to pay a price to repay them, it's only right. Hua Sini continued, causing Mo Qingqing's face to turn red. At this moment, they had already arrived at the central region of the sky-connecting realm. Mo Qingqing dashed towards a stone pillar, and Hua Sini didn't obstruct her. She merely stared at Mo Qingqing as she spoke to Dong Linwu with a hint of resentment in her voice, where can you find a girlfriend like me? I will naturally treat you well. Dong Linwu laughed, pulling Hua Sini into his embrace, exuding an air of elegance. He stared at Mo Qingqing's actions, only to see her placing her hands on the stone pillar and inscribing a few words on it. Instantly, a row of beautiful words floated in the air above the sky-connecting realm. Mo Qingqing stared at the floating words as a look of hope appeared on her face. She mumbled in a low voice, Wentian, I miss you. Where are you, Qingqing? The ancient words in the air were none other than Mo Qingqing's voice. That voice was as soft as a mosquito's, yet it contained a deep sense of longing. At this moment, many people inclined their heads and stared at the words in the air. Among them, there were many who had experienced the voice of one of the 4 sacred academies, the Shizhong Wall. That sentence filled with longing, Qing'er, I miss you. These beautiful words floated in the air, Wentian, I miss you. Although there were no bell chimes, and there were no sounds of longing, just by looking at these words, one could still feel the emotions of the person who carved them. Back then, when the Shizhong Wall spoke of longing, that person was none other than Qin Wentian. Could this Wentian be Qin Wentian as well? Could there really be such a coincidence in this world? Qin Wentian used the bell chime to transmit his longing to the daughter of the evergreen immortal emperor. And now, this woman named Qingqing was actually inscribing words to express her longing for him. The expression in Dong Linwu's eyes changed. He stared at Mo Qingqing, what's the name of your husband? Mo Qingqing turned her head and stared at Dong Linwu. My husband's name is Qin Wentian. Dong Linwu furrowed his brows as his countenance changed. He had heard of the name Qin Wentian before. 2 years ago, Qin Wentian had once caused a huge commotion in the sky connecting realm. He seemed to be an extremely powerful character. Huang Yudi, Bai Mao, and even the son of the thunder god, Leba, had all suffered losses in his hands. I've never heard of him before. I advise you to listen to me. Being able to serve Linwu is your fortune. If not, when your husband comes, he would scram away with his tail between his legs, leaving you behind. That would only make things awkward for you. Although Qin Wentian was extremely famous, not everyone in the 4 sacred academies knew of him. This Hua Sini seemed to have never heard of Qin Wentian's name before. The frown on Dong Linwu's face deepened when he heard her words. At this moment, he inclined his head and stared at a group of silhouettes in front of him. This group of people exuded an extraordinary aura. The man was handsome while the woman was beautiful. Although they couldn't be compared to Mo Qingqing, they were even more outstanding compared to Hua Sini. Dong Linwu, you are getting more and more unbearable. The young man in the lead coldly spoke. Hua Sini frowned. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to Linwu in this manner? Li Yufeng laughed as he glanced at Hua Sini. He then shook his head. You are actually interested in such a woman? Indeed, the kind of person one is, the kind of person one is. After speaking, he glanced at Mo Qingqing, feeling somewhat bewildered by her beauty. Are you looking for Qin Wentian? Emicham, do you know where he is? Mo Qingqing nodded. This person seemed to be acquainted with Qin Wentian. I know, but I don't think he's out yet. Just wait here patiently, I believe there will be someone coming to fetch you soon. Li Yufeng spoke to Mo Qingqing, his words causing an expression of joy to appear on Mo Qingqing's face. She could feel that Li Yufeng's demeanor was even more extraordinary compared to Dong Linwu. There shouldn't be a need for him to lie to her. However, who would be coming to fetch her? Where was Wentian? Chapter 1184. Hua Sini's countenance grew increasingly unsightly. Every sentence of the young man in the air was insulting her and Dong Linwu. She turned her gaze to Dong Linwu only to see him lifting his head and staring at the young man in the air. Are you going to interfere in my matters? I don't have that kind of leisure time. It's just that since you are a member of my 100 Refinements sect, it doesn't matter if you lose face or not. You don't seem to care about that, but the face of the 100 Refinements sect is something we can't afford to lose. Li Yufeng faintly spoke. As a saint child character of the 100 Refinements sect, he naturally had the qualifications to speak for them. Dong Linwu's expression grew increasingly heavy. Upon hearing this, Hua Sini was somewhat taken aback. So it turned out that this young man was also someone from the 100 Refinements sect. Linwu, who is he? Hua Sini asked in a low voice. Li Yufeng. Dong Linwu coldly replied. After which, Hua Sini's countenance changed. Since she was Dong Linwu's lover, she naturally knew the name of the saint child of the 100 Refinements sect. From afar, several figures could be seen flying over. These were the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. The wife of the Saint Lord was named Mo Qingqing. They were naturally very clear about this. When they saw the word missing in the air, they instantly knew that the wife of the Saint Lord had arrived at the Tiandao Sacred Academy. We pay our respects to Madame Qin. These people came before Mo Qingqing and nodded to her. A smile appeared on Mo Qingqing's face. Seems like she would be able to see Wentian very soon. A white silhouette dashed over, directly leaping into Mo Qingqing's embrace, appearing exceptionally intimate. Behind him, Nam Huang Yunxi and the other experts also appeared. So it turned out that Little Rascal had always been together with the beauties of the Nam Huang clan. Little Rascal. Mo Qingqing rubbed Little Rascal's head as her smile grew even wider. However, on the other side, Hua Sini's countenance gradually changed. She could sense that these people who appeared were all extraordinary characters. Yet, They respectfully referred to Mo Qingcheng as Madam Qin. These beauties who appeared all exuded an extraordinary aura and were all here for her. From the looks of it, the husband Mo Qingcheng spoke of was also an extraordinary heaven chosen. There were also several disciples from the heavenly talisman realm who came from the sky connecting realm. Other than them, there were also some spectators who came to spectate from afar. When they saw that beautiful silhouette, all of them felt shock in their hearts. This maiden seemed to have an extraordinary relationship with Qin Wentian. In that case, what about the Princess Qing'er whom Qin Wentian was thinking about earlier? Just as they were contemplating, an icy cold beauty walked over from afar. She walked into the crowd and stared at Mo Qingcheng. This was none other than Qing'er, whom Qin Wentian had used the bell chimes to express his longing for. The two beauties stood together and stared at each other. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward, but to the spectators, this was a beautiful scene. Two beauties with completely different styles stood together, stunning the entire sky-connecting realm. Beside them, there were also beauties like Nam Huang Yunxi, Nan Feng Shenga, Baiming Nong Yue, and Purgatory. As for Hua Sini, she had already faded into the crowd. Qing'er stared at Mo Qingcheng, as her cold eyes flickered, as though she was contemplating something. As for Mo Qingcheng, she was stunned for a moment. Although she already knew of Qing'er's existence, this was the first time they truly stared at each other. After a moment of hesitation, Mo Qingcheng lifted her feet and walked to the side of Qing'er. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, so beautiful that it could topple empires. Elder sister Qing'er. Mo Qingcheng smiled as she called out. Her melodious and beautiful voice seemed to be able to melt the hearts of the people in the surroundings. Qing'er blinked her beautiful eyes, ripples could be seen in them. When she saw the smile in Mo Qingcheng's eyes, she mustered her courage and stretched out her slender and beautiful hand. Mo Qingcheng's smile grew even more radiant. She also stretched out her hand, and the two of them clasped hands at this moment. It was so natural, like they were sisters who had known each other for many years. Qin Wentian's greatest awkwardness was resolved when he wasn't around. These two beautiful and intelligent beauties gently shook hands, using their magnanimity and passion to resolve the awkwardness. The young man and young woman were acquainted in Chu, they were childhood sweethearts. Their love was stronger than gold, dragging a sword for 100,000 miles, destroying the Pill Emperor Hall, touching the hearts of countless people. The young woman silently protecting him from behind, always appearing when he needed her the most. How many times had she been the one standing in front of him, carrying the body of a great rock on her back as she left? Until one day, for the sake of Changqing the Great's daughter, he traversed the immortal realms to search for her. How could the feelings between the two of them be described with words? Both of them knew that any one of them was an indispensable part of Qin Wentian's life. They were the people Qin Wentian loved the most. They also deeply understood the sacrifices they had to make for each other. Hence, they held each other's hands tightly. Regardless of the beautiful Mo Qingcheng, or the cold and aloof Changqing the Great's daughter, from now on, they were sisters. The spectators in the surroundings saw their hands clasped together. At this moment, even a fool would understand what was going on. This simple scene had an extremely great impact on the hearts of the spectators. They couldn't help but feel jealousy towards the young man named Qin Wentian. Although it was normal for supreme geniuses to have many beauties after they matured into immortal kings and emperors, the scene of two beautiful women holding each other's hands was still extremely shocking. That lucky bastard! In the direction of the Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunxi's beautiful eyes flickered with waves when she saw the scene of the two women holding hands. Hua Sini's heart trembled slightly. How could she not understand that the husband of Mo Qingcheng, who wasn't even worthy to carry Dong Linwu's shoes, might very well be a heaven chosen that even Dong Linwu couldn't afford to antagonize? Only now did she realize that ever since the name Qin Wentian was mentioned, Dong Linwu's expression was no longer so natural. Qin Wentian? Who is he? Hua Sini silently mused. Before this, she had flaunted in front of Mo Qingcheng because Dong Linwu had fallen in love with her. She didn't even hesitate to fall out with Mo Qingcheng and force Mo Qingcheng to serve Dong Linwu. However, she didn't expect that Imo Qingcheng, who had just entered the Sacred Academy, wasn't someone she could afford to offend. What's going on with them? Qing Er's cold eyes stared at Dong Linwu and Hua Sini. Imo Qingcheng glanced at the two of them, her beautiful eyes flashing with disgust. Before this, she still treated Hua Sini as a friend. But after falling out with Hua Sini actually wanted her to serve Dong Linwu. What kind of humiliation was this? Hua Sini even insulted Qin Wentian, saying that it was an honor to carry Dong Linwu's shoes. She didn't expect that people could be so shameless. Luckily, after seeing the ancient characters in the sky, many people immediately rushed over, allowing her to relax. They insulted me and Wentian. Imo Qingcheng coldly spoke. The coldness on Qing Er's face grew even colder. However, she had never liked to lecture others. At this moment, an expert from the Battle Saint tribe stepped out and asked Imo Qingcheng, Madam Qin, how do you want to deal with them? Imo Qingcheng had a kind heart. If it was an ordinary matter, she might have forgotten about it. But the words spoken by Hua Sini earlier were simply too shameless. She even wanted to take action against Hua Sini. This was something she couldn't endure. Hence, she spoke, Hua Sini, slap yourself and scram. If Qin Wentian had heard Hua Sini's words earlier and knew of her disgusting thoughts, he would definitely make Hua Sini regret her actions. Linwu. Hua Sini turned her gaze to Dong Linwu. However, Dong Linwu saw that Imo Qingcheng didn't vent her anger on him. After all, it was Hua Sini who spoke earlier, he didn't express his stance. Now that he was in such a situation, he didn't want to stay here any longer. Dong Linwu, why are you still not scramming? Li Yufeng spoke to Dong Linwu. Dong Linwu's countenance turned ashen. He struggled free from Hua Sini's grasp and spoke, from now onwards, we no longer have anything to do with each other. After speaking, he directly sped away. Hua Sini's countenance turned pale. Was this the person she wanted so badly? For this, she didn't hesitate to fall out with Imo Qingcheng and even forced Imo Qingcheng to serve him, just to make him happy, to let him know how good she was. I'm really despicable. Hua Sini suddenly laughed, ruthlessly slapping herself on the face. Staring at her crazed state, Imo Qingcheng spoke, you can leave. Hua Sini cast a deep glance at Imo Qingcheng before she sped away. At this moment, Imo Qingcheng inclined her head and stared at Li Yufeng. Many thanks for your help. There's no need to thank me, I didn't do anything. Li Yufeng casually spoke. In addition, if you thank me, how would you view me when I fight against Qin Wentian in the future? After speaking, Li Yufeng smiled and departed. Nanfeng Nongyue still followed beside him, a pair of immortal companions. Elder sister Qing, thank you. Imo Qingcheng gently smiled. Qing shook her head lightly, it has already been several years since he entered the sky connecting Immortal Rock. I have no idea when he would be able to come out. Let me bring you around the Sacred Academy to improve your strength. Okay, I will listen to elder sister. Imo Qingcheng smiled and nodded. Upon hearing how Imo Qingcheng referred to her, Qing Er's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. After which, a faint smile appeared on her face. The two of them walked side by side, attracting countless gazes. Qin Wentian had no idea about all this. He was still in the mirror, cultivating his various innate techniques. Regardless of the fiend god heavenly suppression art, immortal vanquishing swordplay, or even true arts and God's hand, all of them were growing stronger bit by bit. In fact, as he fused them together, his combat prowess was unknowingly rising as well. Right now, Qin Wentian didn't cultivate. He was in his treasured cauldron, contemplating the innate techniques of the 8 greater demons. Back then when he fought against Leba, the might of the 8 greater demons was boundless and they actually fused together. Now that he was comprehending them again, he managed to cultivate them to an even higher level. After that, he entered the treasured cauldron and discovered that the 8 techniques within could fuse together, transforming into a towering demonic art that could devour mountains and rivers. At this moment, in Qin Wentian's Sea of Consciousness, the 8 greater demons roared in rage as their attacks intertwined together, transforming into a demonic tempest. The shadow of a supreme demonic god appeared in the air, its roar shaking mountains and rivers, annihilating the void and devouring the power of time itself. This was a supreme ultimate art. However, Qin Wentian could only observe its form, he had no way to unleash its full power. Chapter 1185. In the 39th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it was rumored that there were some outstanding geniuses in the 4 sacred academies who came into contact with the Gate of Laws. This indicated that there were already people who came in contact with the Immortal King Realm. At the very least, they could see the gate leading to the Immortal King Realm. This piece of news caused many to feel shock in their hearts. Although the Tiandao Sacred Academy was filled with miracles and the geniuses all had great improvements, the stronger one was, the harder it would be for them to break through. As for the gate between Immortal Foundation and Immortal King, it was like a heavenly chasm. In the vast immortal realms, there were countless Immortal Foundation cultivators. In many major cities of the Immortal Realms, one could see a sea of people at the Immortal Foundation realm. However, there weren't many Immortal Kings. It was unknown how many stellar martial cultivators were obstructed by this gate. Immortal Kings could be considered experts in the Immortal Realms. In a small city, they would be able to rule over an entire prefecture and establish their own power. Only in the supreme cities of the Immortal Realms, Immortal Kings could be seen everywhere. If one wanted to break through from Immortal Foundation to Immortal King, they had to experience the baptism of time. In addition, time alone was far from enough. Hence, even though there were only people who came in contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it was still extremely shocking. In the 40th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the quota for the Sacred Academy was already filled and there were no longer any more candidates to join the Sacred Academy. It was already extremely dangerous for Mo Qingqing to enter the Sacred Academy 2 years ago. If she was 2 years later, she wouldn't have the chance to enter at all. However, after entering the Sacred Academy, Mo Qingqing experienced the baptism of the various secret realms in the Sacred Academy. With Qing'er bringing her along, Mo Qingqing's improvement was extremely great. Although she didn't break through, her comprehension of Immortal Foundation grew deeper and her cultivation base was also extremely stable. It was just that these 2 beauties still had a worry in their hearts. That silhouette who entered the sky connecting Immortal Rock had yet to exit. In the 40th year of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the geniuses that entered the Sacred Academy grew stronger and stronger. It was rumored that there were already quite a few who came in contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm. Right now, in the vast Sacred Academy, there were very few geniuses at the lower 3 levels of Immortal Foundation. The lower one's cultivation base, the easier it was to improve. The Tiandao Sacred Academy already had a history of 40 years. Other than those who entered the Sacred Academy very late or those with weaker talent, the other geniuses all had great improvements. Namhuang Yunxi and the other experts of the Namhuang clan were naturally the same as well. At this moment, several beauties of the Namhuang clan were walking together. Purgatory and Little Rascal were here as well. Purgatory was formed from the spirit of the vermilion bird and had a mutual affinity with the experts of the Namhuang clan who possessed the phoenix bloodline. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan also liked her, hence, they decided to stay by her side. As for Little Rascal, Qing'er and Mo Qingqing both cruelly abandoned him. He could only depend on Purgatory and the beauties of the Southern Phoenix clan. Beauty Yunxi, do you know why this Bao Bao is following you? The group of them walked around the Sacred Academy, tempering themselves in various ruins. Little Rascal lay on Namhuang Yunxi's shoulder as he asked. You don't know. Namhuang Yunxi shook her head lightly. Because I feel that you are very lonely. The feeling of having a crush on someone is simply too unbearable. This Bao Bao understands. Little Rascal let out a long sigh as he spoke. His squinted eyes seemed to be filled with an unfathomable depth as he stared into the air. Pack! A slap directly slammed into him. Namhuang Yunxi directly sent him flying through the air. However, Little Rascal's skin was extremely thick. His snow-white body flashed as he ran back into the embrace of the beauty Nan Fengshinga as he mumbled, "Honest demons always get injured easily. Just shut your mouth." The beauty Nan Fengshinga glared at Little Rascal. However, with this clown around, they were much happier. Although Little Rascal's claws were always a little dishonest, he was simply too adorable. Hence, the beauties all allowed him to take advantage of them. At this moment, the beauties didn't know that there were 2 rows of silhouettes standing on top of an ancient peak in the distance. One of the silhouettes was clad in a black cloak, exuding a dangerous aura. Their gazes were cold and sharp, exuding a dangerous aura. The other group was actually experts from the White Tiger people. Among them, Bai Mao of the White Tiger people was among them. "You White Tiger people are truly trash, always saying that you want the beauties of the Nam Huang clan to give birth to cubs for you. Right now, the beauties of the Nam Huang clan are still as good as before, but I heard that a few of your white tigers have fallen, and one of them was even roasted in front of everyone." Even the royal Bai Mao was roasted by Qin Wendian and the other Nam Huang clan members in the sky-connecting realm. If this was in the external world, I'm afraid he would have already become roasted meat and entered Qin Wendian's stomach. A mocking voice rang out from the mouth of a black-cloaked expert, containing a hint of humiliation. The White Tiger people roared in a low voice, filled with rage. "It's a good thing to be angry. This means that you White Tiger people still know shame. This matter is known by everyone in the Sacred Academy. In the future, when you exit this Tiandao Sacred Academy, the reputation of the White Tiger people will be tarnished sooner or later. I merely said some unpleasant words. If you are angry, it's best not to direct it at us." That person continued. Bai Mao's expression was extremely heavy. He knew that the words of the other party were the truth. If the White Tiger people didn't wash away their shame, they would forever be the laughingstock of the world. In the future, even if they exit the Sacred Academy, the humiliation the White Tiger people, would still spread out and become a laughingstock. "What do you guys want to do?" Bai Mao coldly spoke, his tone filled with unfriendliness. He knew who these people were. The Tiandao Sacred Academy was divided into 4 parts. One of the Sacred Academy was where the majority of the demonic races gathered, including the White Tiger people. As for the other Sacred Academy, there were many devil cultivators. These people before him were none other than devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands. Countless years ago, immortals, demons, and devils were all cultivators and lived evenly in the immortal realms. However, because of their different philosophies, it was easy for conflicts to erupt. As time flowed on, the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms became what it was today. The vast majority of the regions were places for human cultivators to cultivate. Devil cultivators resided in the vast myriad devil islands. There were many demonic races in the southern regions, and there was also the desolate 10,000 mountain range in the north. Each of them had their own territory and would often interact with each other. However, devil cultivators were still devil cultivators. They had some similarities with the demonic races, they loved battle and hated danger. It was rumored that the myriad devil islands were under the control of the myriad devil sovereign and the laws they worshipped were extremely cruel. The strong would live, the weak would die. The devil cultivator in the lead seemed very young. His eyes were cold and sharp, like blades. He then spoke, "You guys have suffered such humiliation, don't you want to teach the Nam Huang clan an unforgettable lesson? It's rumored that the demonic races are lascivious in nature. I want to see for myself. I want you guys to infuriate them and make them issue a life and death challenge. At that time, we will act to avenge your White Tiger people, washing away the humiliation." "Why would you be so kind?" Bai Mao coldly laughed. "What do you want?" The devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands wouldn't do meaningless things. As for helping them take revenge, if there were no benefits, would it be possible? That little demon, no one is allowed to touch him. He is mine. The young man pointed his finger ahead as he coldly spoke. In his palm, a terrifying blood-colored vortex manifested, engulfing the entire space. You want to devour that little demon? The rules of the Sacred Academy cannot be broken. How do you know that the Sacred Academy would allow a life and death challenge? Bai Mao's voice was ice cold. You guys have cultivated in the Sacred Academy for so long, have you never issued a life and death challenge before? Don't worry, devil cultivators love to battle. We have already fought many life and death battles in the Sacred Academy. When the weaker party is humiliated and requests a life and death challenge from the Sacred Academy, the rules of the Sacred Academy would allow it to happen. You guys only need to infuriate the Namhuang clan. Let's hope you are right. An expert from the White Tiger King race spoke. After that, he let out a low roar as his silhouette flashed. The experts from the White Tiger people all sped away. With the opening of the Sacred Academy, the era of ancient emperors has begun. In that case, the future ancient emperor must be me. The eyes of the young man from the White Tiger race gleamed with sharpness. At this moment, the experts from the Namhuang clan still had no idea that someone was plotting against them. Back then in the Sky Connecting Realm, Qin Wentian's domineering battle shocked the other major powers, causing them to come to a truce and no longer harass the other party. The experts from the Namhuang clan also had many years of peace. They continued to cultivate in the Sacred Academy and improved greatly. However, their wariness gradually weakened as well. Strolling around the Sacred Academy, they were still chatting happily, completely unaware that danger was approaching them. Careful. At this moment, a powerful holy successor of the Namhuang clan suddenly felt that something was wrong. After that, her immortal sense extended outwards as her countenance drastically changed. The White Tiger people are attacking. Prepare for battle. She snorted coldly. After that, a terrifying baleful aura transformed into a raging storm that pressed down on this space. Thunderous rumbling sounds shook the heavens and earth, and there were faint signs of the heavens collapsing and the earth shattering. After that, everyone saw numerous experts of the White Tiger race rushing over in their true forms. Have these bastards gone mad? The beauties from the Namhuang clan frowned. They actually transformed into their true forms and rushed over. Their powerful auras instantly erupted forth as the shadow of phoenixes flashed unceasingly, bathing in the flames of phoenixes. Phoenix feathers could be seen on their backs, exuding an incomparably resplendent beauty. Roar, roar, roar. The White Tiger people rushed over. Their earth-shattering roars contained a destructive might as the shadow of white tigers rushed over. The experts from the Namhuang clan waved their fingers as the ancient phoenixes soared up into the sky, slaying the shadow of the White Tiger. Roar! An incomparably gigantic 9th-level White Tiger Greater Demon rushed over. It opened its mouth wide, wanting to devour all the holy maidens. Let me deal with this vile beast. A powerful saintess soared into the air. The phantom of the phoenix grew larger and larger, blotting out the sun. She let out a shout, and instantly, balls of flames shot up into the sky, flying towards the mouth of the saintess. In other directions, the other gigantic existences also launched their attacks. The experts of the White Tiger people in the Sacred Academy all came out in full force. For the sake of avoiding the conflict in the Sacred Academy, the beauties from the Namhuang clan all moved together. But at this moment, they all felt a stifling pressure. The White Tiger people had gone crazy, they wanted to fight them to the death. Careful! At this moment, a holy maiden from the Namhuang clan roared. Bai Mao sacrificed an expert of the White Tiger people, abandoning his own opponent, allowing the other White Tiger to face the attacks of the two holy maidens. He himself lunged towards a holy maiden with a speed as fast as lightning. The holy maiden he chose was a 6th-level Immortal Foundation holy maiden. Bai Mao's terrifying claws stretched out through the air, smashing down. That holy maiden was in the midst of battle, how could she endure such a sudden attack? Her body was directly grabbed by the claws of the White Tiger. After that, she only saw Bai Mao fleeing far away. Chapter 1186. Release her. The Namhuang clan experts were shocked. They had also injured the companion Bai Mao abandoned earlier. That White Tiger people expert was knocked to the ground. The phoenix flames enveloped his body, as though he could be incinerated at any moment. Chi! A tearing sound rang out. Bai Mao's sharp claws directly tore off the clothes of the holy maiden he captured, revealing her beautiful jade-like skin, causing the holy maiden's countenance to turn as pale as paper. Vile beast! The Nam Huang clan expert roared in rage. His wings slashed down, slamming into the white tiger on the ground, causing fresh blood to flow. It's useless even if you torture him. Bai Mao coldly spoke. The experts of the White Tiger people actually retreated together, blocking the frenzied attacks of the Nam Huang clan. Bai Mao's sharp claws ruthlessly slashed at the body of the holy maiden. That holy maiden struggled madly. How could her delicate body withstand the terrifying claws of a white tiger? Her entire body turned red from the pressure. What do you want to do? The experts of the Nam Huang clan had unsightly expressions on their faces. This time, the White Tiger people were so crazy, they actually didn't mind sacrificing their companions to deal with them. Such an action was simply unreasonable. Although the White Tiger people were despicable, they were still very united. If not, the White Tiger people wouldn't have been able to stand tall in the western regions. Naturally, I'm bringing her to give birth to White Tiger cubs. Bai Mao coldly laughed. His other claw stretched out, caressing the skin of that holy maiden, angering the experts of the Nam Huang clan to the point of frenzy. For a period of time, the entire sky was engulfed in flames. The holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan has the blood of the ancient phoenix. Such a beauty with skin as smooth as jade. Back then, your Nam Huang clan roasted the people of my tribe. Today, we shall bring this holy maiden away and let my tribesmen enjoy her. After speaking, the White Tiger turned and left. The experts of the White Tiger people retreated together. Chase! The members of the Nam Huang clan had a drastic change in their expressions as they chased after Wang Xian in a frenzy. Their bodies were engulfed in raging flames. The holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan, who was captured by Bai Mao, was as pale as a sheet. Her beautiful eyes flashed with ruthlessness, and her entire body was suddenly ignited with endless phoenix fire. In an instant, it enveloped her body, burning her body. The scorching phoenix fire caused Bai Mao's palm to sizzle, as though it was about to ignite. He loosened his grip and threw the holy maiden to the ground. His expression changed slightly. Chun, The experts of the Nam Huang clan exclaimed in shock. They chased after Nanfeng Chun, causing the expressions of the White Tiger people to turn incredibly unsightly. They recalled the rumors of the Nam Huang clan. The blood of the ancient phoenix, the blood of nirvanic rebirth. Right now, the droplets of phoenix blood floating in the air, were they the blood of nirvanic rebirth? Nanfeng Chun's entire body glowed with a towering blood-colored light, appearing extremely tragic. Her immortal foundation began to burn amidst the intense flames. Boom! Nanfeng Chun's burning body transformed into a terrifying phoenix shadow that shot towards Bai Mao. At this instant, even Bai Mao felt his heart trembling. With a roar of rage, he retreated explosively. The other powerful White Tiger roared, shaking the heavens and earth, causing Nanfeng Chun to cough out blood. Her beautiful eyes stared at Bai Mao, filled with reluctance. After that, she turned her attention to the White Tiger people captured by the Nam Huang clan. Her silhouette flickered as she rushed over. Chun, The expression of the holy maiden who captured the White Tiger changed. After that, she seemed to understand Nanfeng Chun's determination. She flung the White Tiger away and Nanfeng Chun's silhouette descended. Phoenix flames directly enveloped the White Tiger, burning it as its screams of agony rang out, attracting the attention of many experts from afar. That powerful White Tiger was about to be roasted alive. At this instant, Nanfeng Chun no longer cared about the rules of the Sacred Academy and launched a fatal attack. She has already undergone nirvanic rebirth, what else did she have to fear? The experts of the White Tiger people stepped out. The experts of the Nam Huang clan also stepped out, radiating killing intent as they blocked the path. Kill! A roar of rage rang out as the flames incinerated everything. That white tiger wasn't roasted alive, it was burnt to ashes instead. At the same time, Nanfeng Chun transformed into a beam of blood-colored light, flying towards a holy maiden of the Namhuang clan. That holy maiden stretched her hand out. Nanfeng Chun had already vanished, transforming into a droplet of nirvanic rebirth blood. One could faintly see Nanfeng Chun's silhouette within the translucent droplet of blood. She held the droplet of blood tightly as an intense killing intent flashed in her eyes. Terrifying tribulation clouds appeared in the sky as supreme law energy descended, enveloping this entire area. Regardless of the auras of the Namhuang clan or the White Tiger people, all of them seemed extremely insignificant under this pressure. Nanfeng Chun was forced to transform into a droplet of blood. Before this, she spared no expense to kill a white tiger. In that case, who was the one who violated the rules of the Sacred Academy? Or could it be that both parties violated the rules? At this instant, everyone in the Sacred Academy could see the law energy condensing in the air. It was as though a terrifying face had appeared there, a face formed from the rage of the law energy. Since you all disregard the rules of the Sacred Academy, fine. Under the rules of the Sacred Academy, both of you can kill each other in a battle within the Tiandao Sacred Academy. In fact, for those who participate in the battle, you can also kill each other. You are not restricted by the rules of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Are you satisfied now? An enraged voice rang out, reverberating through the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy, causing countless people to sigh in admiration. Who exactly was it that caused the rage of the Sacred Academy? To think that both sides were no longer restricted by the rules of the Sacred Academy, allowing both sides to kill each other. Although the people of the Sacred Academy were restricted by the rules, they understood that the rules of the Sacred Academy were there to protect the geniuses of the Sacred Academy from dying. If not, if both sides were allowed to kill each other, the Sacred Academy would become a place of purgatory for many geniuses. Now that the rules of the Sacred Academy allowed both sides to kill each other, it was clear that many people from both sides who had a grudge against each other would lose their lives. This was something that the experts of the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people were well aware of. Such an outcome had even exceeded the expectations of the experts of the White Tiger people. They originally thought that once the Namhuang clan was completely enraged, a battle platform would appear for them to fight each other. However, under the rage of the Sacred Academy, there was no battle platform. As long as they were still in the Sacred Academy, they would not rest until one of them was dead. Even the powerful White Tiger people felt fear at this moment. If the Namhuang clan joined forces with Qin Wendian and the others to hunt down the White Tiger people, they would be in dire straits, unless they could also find an ally. In the distance, among a group of black-cloaked figures approaching, a young man revealed a cold smile. Although the outcome was somewhat unexpected, it was fine. What he wanted couldn't escape. Protect me, it's enough for me to take down that demonic beast. There's no need to bother about their battle. The young man calmly spoke as he slowly moved closer. They weren't in a hurry, the battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan had just erupted. It would undoubtedly be much easier for them to appear when the battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan began. How crazy! If many of the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan and the experts of the White Tiger people died in the Sacred Academy, wouldn't a war erupt between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan in the outside world? A person at the side laughed evilly. He was filled with anticipation for the war between the demons and the Namhuang clan. The more intense the battle, the better. At this moment, the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people were in a frenzied battle. Namhuang Yunshi, Purgatory, and Little Rascal were fighting together. At this moment, Little Rascal had transformed into a golden-winged great rock. His entire body seemed to be made from gold, and when his sharp claws slashed out, a terrifying golden vortex appeared. Do it! The group of black-caped figures increased their speed, rushing towards the battlefield. Boundless devil might gushed forth, exuding a terrifying pressure. Bai Mao roared, "Kill all of them here." Bai Mao understood that in order to avoid future troubles, it would be best for them to kill the experts of the Namhuang clan first. However, the group of Devil Path experts didn't seem to have heard his words. They continued rushing towards the direction of Namhuang Yunshi. Be careful over there. The experts of the Namhuang clan all turned pale with fright as despair appeared on their faces. Did the heavens want to annihilate their Namhuang clan? There was actually a group of Devil Path experts joining the battle. At this moment, the experts of the Namhuang clan were already suppressed by the White Tiger people. The experts from the myriad Devil Islands continued to crush them, their attacks breaking through everything as they rushed towards the direction of Namhuang Yunshi. Yunshi, be careful. Someone warned. Namhuang Yunshi retreated, but to her astonishment, she discovered that those Devil Path experts didn't even bother to look at her. They were still rushing forward, aiming for Little Rascal. Little Rascal! Namhuang Yunshi shouted. Little Rascal's eyes flashed, he saw the cloak of the person in the lead slipping down, revealing a devilish face. He directly soared into the air, wanting to flee. Boom! The experts from the myriad Devil Islands soared up into the air. A terrifying devil palm imprint blotted out the sky as it slammed over. A thunderous boom rang out as cracks appeared on Little Rascal's golden body as he coughed out fresh blood. Namhuang Yunshi paled. Little Rascal was Qin Wentian's companion. If something happened to him here, how would she answer to Qin Wentian? But at this moment, there was simply nothing she could do to save Little Rascal. Be careful, I want him alive. The young man coldly spoke. Mo Xie, it's Mo Xie. Namhuang Yunshi also clearly saw the young man in the lead. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, everyone only knew that Mo Xie was someone from the myriad Devil Islands and had an extraordinary status. But because the people of the immortal realms weren't familiar with the myriad Devil Islands, no one knew who Mo Xie was exactly. But since he dared to kill Zi Daoyang, the son of Zidi, one could very well imagine how ruthless he was. Little Rascal roared and fled with all his might. However, although Mo Xie's cultivation base wasn't very high, he had many powerful characters around him. Another palm imprint blasted out, shattering Little Rascal's wings. Mo Xie moved closer step by step as boundless heavenly devil tribulation might envelop Little Rascal, resembling chains that bound Little Rascal's body. A sinister smile flickered in Mo Xie's eyes. Finally, another inheritance was going to be in his hands. He was extremely interested in the complete inheritance of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor. The Sky Devil chains abruptly manifested countless devil runes that seeped into Little Rascal's body. Mo Xie abruptly drew in a deep breath as a terrifying devil might enveloped Little Rascal. After that, Mo Xie's devil palms slammed into Little Rascal's body. Chapter 1187. Boom! As the palm landed, countless devil runes coiled around Little Rascal. Instantly, terrifying black runes appeared on the body of the golden-winged great rock, seeping into his body unceasingly. These devil runes contained a fearsome corrosive and destructive might, even causing crackling sounds to echo out. It was like a heavenly devil tribulation, capable of shattering even the toughest of defenses. At this moment, the aura from Little Rascal actually flowed towards Mo Xie. Roar! Little Rascal let out a terrifying roar of rage. His body abruptly shrank, transforming into a tiny rock that shot out with lightning speed, evading Mo Xie's attack. Mo Xie's countenance drastically changed, this bastard's defense was truly strong. Even after enduring so many attacks from the devil palms, he still had the strength to flee. Not only that, he seemed to have the ability to transform into a myriad of forms. Only to see several devil cultivators standing guard in all directions. With a wave of their palms, a layer of terrifying sky devil chains directly locked down this space. Little Rascal's body directly slammed into the sky devil barrier, and was directly struck by the terrifying might of the barrier, causing him to scream in agony as fresh blood flowed from his wounds. You still want to flee? Mo Xie coldly spoke. First, he made use of the White Tiger people, causing the White Tiger people to fight against the Namhuang clan. After that, he led his people to attack. Yet, he still allowed a mere demonic beast to flee. That was truly a humiliation to him. Purgatory transformed into a vermilion bird and rushed over. However, the devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands were all gathered together, allowing Purgatory to ram into the sky devil barrier. With a thunderous boom, Purgatory was directly flung through the air as she coughed out fresh blood. Even if the devil cultivators didn't attack, it was impossible for her to break through the barrier. This scene caused Purgatory to turn pale. Staring at little rascal who was madly struggling within the sky devil barrier, despair filled her heart. And right now, the experts from the Namhuang clan were being fiercely attacked by the White Tiger people. They had no time to care about what was happening here. Little rascal was still struggling bitterly, but there was no way for him to escape. The injuries on his body grew heavier and heavier, and Moc's sky devil chains once again wrapped around his body, as Moc's palms slammed downwards. No! Purgatory rushed out once more, only to see the expert from the myriad devil islands turning around and coldly glancing at her. With a wave of his hand, a heavenly devil palm imprint slammed down, directly grabbing onto Purgatory's gigantic body. Since this is the case, you can become my nourishment as well. As he spoke, he grabbed Purgatory's body and threw it towards the heavenly demon barrier. Stop! A cold voice rang out. That devil expert from the myriad devil islands frowned. His eyes gleamed with devilish light as he stared in the direction of the voice. After that, his eyes narrowed as he stared at the silhouette flying in his direction. This group of people were similarly clad in devil robes, exuding an incomparably cold aura. This was especially so for the expert in the lead. Under her long robes fluttered in the wind, there was a blood-colored armor that stuck closely to her body, exuding a sense of imposingness. Her slender figure, gentle and beautiful figure, as well as those perfect curves, one could tell that she was a female with a single glance. Also, given her figure, she was definitely a beauty. The woman's long hair draped over her shoulders, and she wore an incomparably beautiful blood-red laurel crown on her head, which perfectly accentuated her temperament. The only regrettable thing was that her tight-fitting armor had a pointed mask protruding from her collar, which covered her face below her eyes. Only her beautiful eyes revealed a frighteningly cold light, as if she was the daughter of a demon god, peerless in the world. Behind her, there was also a group of experts from the myriad devil islands. When the experts surrounding little rascal saw her, a strange light flashed in their eyes, as well as hints of reverence. But even so, they didn't stop their attacks. Impudent! Only to see a terrifying figure beside that woman stepping out, exuding a majestic devil might. Only then did those experts stop. A moment later, the heavenly demon barrier vanished. Moc stared at that woman, but his hand didn't lower down, it was still holding onto the heavily injured little rascal. Release me. That woman stared at Moc, there were no emotions in her eyes as she coldly spoke. Moc didn't release his hand. His expression was cold as he stared at the woman. What qualifications do you have to interfere in my matters? Because I'm the priestess of the Judiciary Hall. The woman's voice was as cold as ever. Although you are the priestess of the Judiciary Hall, I'm the devil child of the Sky Devil Hall. I've never violated the rules of the devil path. What qualifications does the Judiciary Hall have to interfere in the matters of my Sky Devil Hall? Moc's voice was ice cold as he questioned. Under the Judiciary Hall, who would dare to disobey? The woman's voice was solemn, containing an extreme coldness within. As the sound of her voice faded, the experts from the myriad devil islands all stepped out as a fearsome power of the Judiciary Hall gushed forth, causing the expressions of the experts beside Moc to turn extremely unsightly. This bunch of blood-sucking bastards! They silently cursed in their hearts. The myriad devil islands was the world of devil cultivators. Devil cultivators were tyrannical and cold, but they also had respect for them. Those fellows from the Judiciary Hall, as long as they appeared, there would definitely be a storm of blood. It was unknown how many supreme experts from the devil sects died under the Judiciary Hall. They were existences that caused people to tremble in fear just by hearing their names. Hence, there was a saying in the myriad devil islands, when the Judiciary Hall appears, the devil sects will cry. Under the Judiciary Hall, even the devil infants wouldn't dare to cry. What a despicable woman! Mo Xie mocked in his heart, yet he didn't say this out loud. If he said this, these people from the Judiciary Hall would directly act against him. He had no doubts about this. However, he still felt that this woman was despicable. It was only because of her heaven-defying luck that she managed to obtain the Judiciary Hall's inheritance. Some of the devil arts in the myriad devil islands were extremely tyrannical. They were different from many immortal cultivators in the immortal realms. There were some tyrannical arts that could be imbued into one's body, allowing one to undergo a complete transformation. This woman's background was unknown. It was because of her good luck that she obtained the inheritance and directly became the judiciary priestess the moment she entered the myriad devil islands. The devil child of my sky devil hall is doing things outside to strengthen himself. Why is the judiciary priestess interfering? How would Mo Xie give up so easily? He continued to question. The judiciary hall is the judiciary hall. Is there a need for an explanation? The voice of the woman grew even colder. As the sound of her voice faded, the people around her all moved towards Mo Xie. Those experts from the Sky Devil Hall wanted to move, but they only heard the woman coldly speaking, "You all know the consequences for daring to act against the people of the judiciary priestess." Mo Xie's people halted their steps as their expressions turned unsightly. Mo Xie's countenance turned even colder, the killing intent in his eyes was unmasked. He stared at the woman and coldly spoke, "Fine, I will release him. Consider yourself lucky. Let's hope that you will still be this lucky next time." Mo Xie stared at Little Rascal as he spoke. After that, he tossed Little Rascal away. Purgatory's silhouette flashed as she caught Little Rascal's body. Under the might of the heavenly devil barrier, Little Rascal was heavily injured. Mo Xie coldly glanced at the woman before waving his hand, "Leave." As he spoke, he actually no longer bothered with the battle between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan. He wanted to leave. "You guys have already participated in this battle. This means that under the rules of the Sacred Academy, you guys are not protected. The Namhuang clan can kill you all. If you don't eradicate the Namhuang clan, do you really intend to leave just like that?" Bai Mao roared as he fought. These bastards from the myriad devil islands basically had no intentions of helping them. They were purely making use of them for the sake of that demonic beast. Mo Xie completely ignored Bai Mao and directly brought his people away. His mood was extremely bad, extremely bad. He didn't want to see that woman right now, or he wouldn't be able to control his urge to kill her. As for the devil child of the Sky Devil Hall, it was naturally impossible for him to publicly kill the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall. Hence, he could only leave this place. This bunch of untrustworthy bastards. Bai Mao was incomparably enraged. The people from the myriad devil islands were truly despicable and shameless devil cultivators. "Retreat!" The experts from the White Tiger people roared. They were in a stalemate with the Namhuang clan, and the attitude of these devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands was unclear. They stopped Mo Xie and seemed to be standing on the side of the other party. This was definitely a sign of danger. At this moment, it was clear that the White Tiger people wouldn't take the risk. Right now, the rules of the Sacred Academy allowed them to kill. The experts from the White Tiger people retreated. The Namhuang clan frenziedly attacked, but they didn't pursue. At this moment, there were several holy maidens from the Namhuang clan who suffered varying degrees of injuries. But luckily, none of them died. If the battle continued, there would surely be holy maidens who died. This was clearly a situation they didn't want to see. Chun-er, she. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan gathered before one of the holy maidens. Chun-er transformed into nirvanic blood, she would definitely be able to be reborn. Let's talk about it after we return to the Namhuang clan. As for whether she can make a comeback, that would depend on her good fortune. That holy maiden spoke. For the nirvanic blood of the Namhuang clan to be able to preserve her life, it was already an extremely heaven-defying method. Everyone nodded lightly. Namhuang Yunshi came to the side of Purgatory. She stared at the heavily injured Little Rascal and spoke, "Let's go to the sky connecting realm." Purgatory nodded. Right now, going to the sky connecting realm was the safest option. If they stayed in the Sacred Academy, who knew if the White Tiger people would find people who had a grudge against their Namhuang clan and kill them. Purgatory inclined her head and stared at the priestess of the myriad devil islands. Thank you. The priestess glanced at Purgatory before she turned and departed, not leaving behind a single word. Namhuang Yunshi felt a little strange, but she didn't think too much about it. She then followed the experts of the Namhuang clan and sped towards the sky connecting realm. In the sky connecting realm, in the direction of the Tongtian Heaven Stone, there would be many experts coming here every day, wanting to see if there were any changes to the Supreme Might rankings. During these years, there were quite a few people who managed to ascend to the top of the rankings. However, nobody knew exactly who was stronger and who was weaker. Most probably, they would only know after they fought against each other. It was rumored that the few who stood at the very peak had already come into contact with the gate leading to the Immortal King realm. It was unknown how terrifying their strength was. And right now in the second level of the sky connecting realm, Qin Wentian was still cultivating there. He spent his days in front of the mirror screen, and at the end, he already had the ability to evolve his innate techniques. It was like as long as he had an innate technique in his hands, he would be able to find the direction to cultivate it to the extreme. As he slowly explored, his innate techniques grew stronger and stronger. In fact, he even discovered many unique offensive techniques that could unleash terrifying might. During these years, although his cultivation base didn't increase, his combat prowess definitely rose to another level. Chapter 1188. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, many experts tried to find out why the rules of the Sacred Academy were angered. After that, they learned that the reason why the Sacred Academy was angered was because the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people disregarded the rules of the Sacred Academy during the battle. A saintess of the Namhuang clan underwent nirvana, and an expert of the White Tiger people was killed. Both of these actions went against the rules of the Sacred Academy. Hence, the Sacred Academy decided to punish them. From now on, the grudges between the White Tiger people and the Namhuang clan could be resolved by killing each other. They would no longer be protected by the rules of the Sacred Academy. During the battle, it was rumored that there were two major powers from the myriad devil islands that participated. However, what was interesting was that these two major powers had different standpoints and there was actually some friction between them. Also, these two major powers were extremely powerful and were rumored to be important characters in the myriad devil islands. One of them was the devil's son while the other was a priestess. Naturally, the geniuses in the Sacred Academy didn't know the exact division of powers in the myriad devil islands. Maybe, the elders in their sects or clans would know some things about the myriad devil islands. Back then in the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian domineeringly killed by Mao, oppressed Huang Yudi, and defeated the Son of Thunder, Leba, issuing a truce. From then on, the conflicts between the various major powers were temporarily suppressed and didn't erupt. Who would have thought that the White Tiger people finally couldn't hold it in any longer? The moment they erupted, it was so violent that even the rules of the Sacred Academy gave up on them. In this case, I'm afraid many geniuses would die in the Sacred Academy. Many people who knew about the grudges of the past were thinking in their hearts. Many major powers participated in that battle. Now, as long as they participated in the battle between the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people, they would be able to engage in a life-and-death battle. Without a doubt, this would affect all major powers. All major powers would stand up once again and prepare for a war of slaughter. The truth was just as everyone had guessed. The insufferably arrogant White Tiger people, after that battle, began to run around the Sacred Academy. They found the 9 emperors' immortal states Huang Yudi, and after that, they contacted the Lightning Divine Palace's Leba. It seemed as though they were preparing to form a terrifying alliance. In the past, the White Tiger people had always viewed humans as lowly and insufferably arrogant. They ruled over the western regions of the immortal realm, treated the human Wuxiu as their servant, toyed with human beauties, and treated humans as their mounts and slaves. Who would dare to disobey them? However, in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the White Tiger people suffered setbacks time and time again. They were roasted alive by Qin Wentian and eaten alive, causing several white tigers of their clan to fall. Bai Mao was even trampled on and completely defeated by Qin Wentian. Their confidence suffered a blow time and time again, to the point where they completely put down their pride and took the initiative to form an alliance with humans. Back then in the battle in front of the Shizhong Wall, there were many powers who participated in it. Many experts pursued Qin Wentian, including the 9 Emperor's Immortal States Prince Huang Dangtian, as well as the geniuses and Ziti's followers of the Supreme Sword School. All of them had gone missing and had yet to reappear. Most probably, they had already died. Although they didn't know what exactly happened, they believed that it definitely had something to do with Qin Wentian. Hence, this time, with the White Tiger people taking the lead, all the major powers quickly came to a consensus, and that was to kill Qin Wentian. This brat had to die. Huang Yuti hated Qin Wentian to the bone. Naturally, he wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Only by standing on the side of the White Tiger people could they kill Qin Wentian. Because they knew that Qin Wentian would definitely help the Namhuang clan, then the rules of the Sacred Academy wouldn't protect him. Ziti's people, Tenlan Heaven Kingdom's people, Supreme Sword School's people, and even the disciples of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor's sect all came out. Previously, because they were alone, they didn't dare to provoke Qin Wentian's group. Now that they had strong reinforcements, they also joined in, preparing to take Qin Wentian's life. This alliance had already taken shape after many days, transforming into a terrifying army. Such a huge commotion naturally couldn't be hidden from the eyes and ears of the experts of the Sacred Academy, causing many people to feel shocked. This was the first time under the rules of the Sacred Academy that a life-and-death battle was allowed to occur without a specific location. Most probably, this would be the largest battle ever in the history of the Sacred Academy. Such a terrifying commotion, how could the people of the Namhuang clan in the sky-connecting realm not know about it? They were all faintly worried, but luckily, the Battle Saint tribe, Jidi's followers, the geniuses of the Evergreen Kingdom, as well as the disciples of the immortal Qianbian Gate from the Heavenly Talisman realm also gathered in the sky-connecting realm, preparing to deal with this impending storm. These two terrifying powers both contained shocking strength. The 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple also came to the sky-connecting realm. However, they didn't express that they would stand on the side of the Namhuang clan. After all, to the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple, they didn't have a deep relationship with Qin Wentian. There was no need for them to participate in this life-and-death battle. In addition, everyone knew that there was a peak character on the side of the 9 Emperor's immortal state. Although he hasn't appeared yet, no one knew if he would participate in this battle or not. Huang Shaishan's existence was too great of a threat. During the battle back then, he fought against 5 powerful experts. During these years, he had been busy with his cultivation, and it's said that he has already peaked at the gate to the Immortal King realm. He was one of the strongest people in the Sacred Academy. On the Supreme Might rankings above the sky-connecting Immortal Rock, the silhouettes of many experts could be seen. Qin Wentian was still there. Other than him, Huang Shatian was also one of them. There were over 10 people on the Supreme Might rankings. Other than the 1st level to 8th level of Immortal Foundation, there were quite a few experts at the 9th level, including Huang Shatian. They were the true experts that stood at the peak of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. On the side of the Tongtian Heaven Stone, the experts from the Namhuang clan sat cross-legged on the stone pillars. Everyone in the surroundings understood that this was merely the momentary calm before the storm. At this moment, more and more experts arrived, bringing with them the sound of whistling wind as they stood far away, staring at this scene. The experts from the various major powers all arrived. The experts from the Sanluo Immortal Empire, the Ashii Sengoku Kingdom, the greater demons of the Tianping people, and at this moment, the experts sitting on the stone pillars knew that they have arrived. Only when they attacked would these experts come to spectate the battle. However, this space was still so quiet that it was terrifying. Ba, this monk loves liveliness the most. A Buddhist chant rang out as 3 monks appeared. These were none other than the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple, causing expressions of interest to appear on the faces of everyone. Would the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple participate in this battle? Interesting. Who would win this battle? The Prince of the Shooting Sun Kingdom asked his royal sister. The White Tiger People's Alliance ultimately didn't wait for Huang Shatian to act. Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian are both cultivating in the second level of the sky connecting realm. Most probably, they have no idea that such a huge battle would occur in the outside world. As for victory or defeat, it's hard to say. If the 3 monks from the Wenxin Temple participate, there would be a 50-50 chance of victory. Naturally, the prerequisite is that there are no other variables. After all, no one knows if there would be other major powers participating. What a pity, that fellow hasn't come out yet. Li Yufeng stood together with Baiming Nongyue. Even if he came out, he wouldn't be able to affect the overall situation. Baiming Nongyue's voice was extremely moving. If this battle occurs in the sky connecting realm, it would give both sides a buffer and wouldn't be fatal. After all, the deaths of many people from both sides might attract the attention of the peak powers in the immortal realms. I believe that the person the White Tiger people want to kill the most is none other than him. They should first defeat these people, and when he appears, it would be much easier to kill him. In the direction of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu grew stronger and stronger. His eyes could see through everything. Staring into the distance, he could hear the conversation of the experts from the White Tiger people. Monk Bujie closed his eyes. After that, he smiled. They plan to first kill all of you and blast you all out of this sky-connecting realm. After that, they will head to the outside world to hunt. Their main targets would be the people from the immortal Qianbian Gate who are with Qin Wentian. Next would be the people from the Namhuang clan. As for the people from the Namhuang clan, the White Tiger people would be the ones to deal with them. The eyes of everyone flashed. The immortal Qianbian Gate represented by Qin Wentian was actually the most powerful force, including the disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian didn't care about offending the immortal Qianbian Gate. Since they wanted to kill them, they might as well kill them all. As for the foundations of the Namhuang clan, it was better to leave it to the White Tiger people who had the deepest conflict with them. As for the people from GD and Evergreen, they weren't really prepared to kill them. Although the rules of the Sacred Academy no longer protected them and they could engage in a life-and-death battle, both sides still had some reservations. After all, on the surface, only the White Tiger people had truly killed a greater demon. The disappearance of the experts from the other powers could only be related to Qin Wentian. The humiliation of Huang Yudi and the others was also done by Qin Wentian. Hence, their main target was none other than the powers led by Qin Wentian. You better not participate in this battle. Qing'er's beautiful eyes glanced at Mo Qingqing beside her as she spoke. As long as Qingqing didn't participate, the other party wouldn't be able to kill her. Qingqing was too weak and wouldn't be able to participate at all. Mo Qingqing nodded her head lightly. She knew that if she participated, she would only be a burden and wouldn't be able to help at all. She naturally understood that this wasn't the time to let her emotions affect her decisions. Finally, a stifling pressure gushed over from afar. For a period of time, the clouds in the sky above the sky-connecting realm changed. The dark clouds seemed as though they wanted to crush the sky. The experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state, White Tiger people, Zidi's followers, Supreme Sword School, Tenlan Heaven Kingdom, Thunder God Hall, Dongshengshan Gate and others all appeared. They wanted to sweep through the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe stood at the very front. They lined up in a row as battle light radiated from them. The shadow of numerous divine apes appeared, standing tall in the air, guarding the front lines. Today, we came here for the sake of the Namhuang clan and the White Tiger people. For those who stand on the side of the Namhuang clan, they won't be protected by the rules of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Kill them all without mercy. Huang Yudi stood in the direction of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. His body floated in the air as the human emperor immortal empire shimmered, resembling a human emperor. The silence on the other side was so terrifying that it was terrifying. Not a single person replied. They only silently released their immortal foundations as well as their tyrannical auras. In this vast space, only a destructive might could be felt. This might soared upwards, enveloping this entire space within it,